between dungeons. And then there's the next one. And the next dungeon, you just go in, and Crown Dungeon sucks.
Yeah, so we're going to see our players take a significant test as they try to solve these puzzles to get to these dungeons.
Yeah, I hope they're good at economics, that's for sure.
Alright, we've got some audio up there. And this is part 2. If folks are interested, you can type in !pastebin, and you can see the hints that we've given to the players. In addition to the animals that Alpha and I have talked to, players do get a couple of other small hints in that pastebin, including we have given them a little bit of guidance on Bippin and Blossom, two completely optional NPCs that we'd like to see them participate in that little side quest.
Yeah, that's totally optional. There's nothing going on there.
You get,
but that's a fun one.
There's technically a reward, but it's so forgettable as to not be worth it.
What was is it a ring?
It's not even that good. It's like you can get a seed, or I think you can get a few rupees, or a health refill.
I think because there's like a bunch of endings to that side quest. Like if you pamper him too much, he becomes a piece of shit. You can do the right things, and if he becomes a he basically tries to emulate Link. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff.
So we'll see if our players...
There's one where he grows up just like his dad, and he's just standing next to him and throwing seed. Same sprite.
So we'll see if our players go through with that, and we'll maybe get to see what kind of children that they raise. Of course, you don't get to see the results of that in this one game alone. You do have to play a linked game to discover the ending to that little side quest.
Yeah, and I mean, technically they don't even have to start it until the next game, because it gives some defaults. Like, there are points, there's like 16 endings for it, or like there's a ton of endings for it, and it's all basically based on points, and skipping it is 0, and it's like a valid way of doing something.
I don't think that that's the way it does. I think it's, I think actually it's just, it has a sequence. There's like 5 different steps, and there's like 6 outcomes you can get, and it's just each possible combination of steps gets you one of those 6 outcomes.
Yeah, but skipping is still one of the ways to advance it. Like that's one of the choices.
Well, maybe we'll find that out. All right, looks
the
like
most important one is being able to name him.
Yeah, we did have one of our players, I can't remember if it was someone or if it was Anisep. One of them just typed in an A for the name, which is, of course, the most disappointing name that you could.
Yeah. I think the canon name, or it's Pippin and Blossom or Bippin and Blossom.
I think it's Bipsum is like the canon name.
Yeah, it's either Bipsum or Bippin or something, but yeah.
So in our previous race, the players completed dungeon number 2, and Muir running off from Maple, the witch. We saw that Zenic Reverie avoiding Maple.
Why don't they want to talk to her? They're not going to be able to. This is bullshit.
Oop, you're roboting real hard there, Alpha.
Oh.
There you go.
Hang on. Okay, yeah, I think I was just under the bad part of a tree.
Alright. Someone gets a really good haul here from Maple, finds a potion and a ring. Nighty had that piece of heart show up, but he wasn't able to grab it in time. Ooh, here's a potion for Zenic. I think this is Zenic's first time running into Maple. So he's getting his...
absolutely... Yeah, the first time he ran away, he just left the screen immediately and went to talk to the ghost.
So Zenek picking up some money here. She prioritizes ordinary hearts over 20 rupees or 5 rupee pieces. I feel like that might be a mistake for her, but she seemed to think that she got the better of Zenek. Muir decided that he just didn't have any time for Maple right then.
Yeah, she prioritizes, I believe it's in order, heart pieces, rings, gaseous seeds, hearts, and money.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Well, and some of those items that get dropped are your items, so in a sense, those are your hearts. That she just slams right into you, your heart falls out of your chest, and then she picks it up and drags it off with her.
Yeah, and I think if she drops the heart piece and picks it back up, no matter what, she says she gets the best of you. Which is technically true, because you want the piece of heart.
So this segment, like Alpha alluded to, it's a little bit complicated here at the start. The players did get a hint that they need to cross the sea. However, they can't just cross the sea. They don't have any flippers. They have no ability to swim. They find a fellow named Rafton in the south end of the town in the past who wants to build a raft to sail across the water. But he needs some rope that will not decay. And in order to advance, the players are going to have to talk to a couple of NPCs in both the past and the present in order to get the items they need to get that raft finished.
Yeah. You know, Ralph shows up. He's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah, Ralph is probably one of the better Zelda minor NPCs.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say he's pretty major, but, like, Ralph gets shit done, but he's too impatient to think about anything that he's doing. Like, this game would probably be a lot shorter if Ralph just wasn't, you know, trying to save the girl he's in love with the entire time, like, with extreme fervor. But, you know.
So the players, it looks like Nighty stopped to talk to the Meku tree in the past, and she says, hey, talk to the dude on the waterfront. So that's a pretty good hint that you need to talk to Rafton. Raft is a very useful item for now.
Yeah. I mean, there's two people you gotta talk on the waterfront. You gotta talk to him, you gotta talk to Cheval.
Yep, here we go. I think Nighty's found Cheval, which is, I think you get a hint from Raft, and he mentions that Cheval was working on rope.
Yeah, and then you have no idea who that is, and then you get this, and then it's like, oh no, we won't finish it for like 400 years, whatever will happen. And, well, conveniently, you have a portal to the future where evil is not law, that's the past. It's the opposite of Samurai Jack, that's really what we're playing here.
It looks like Zenek has found the minigame here.
Okay, so is Zenek's batting right now?
Yep, Zenek is going up to bat.
So what is it? Is it 300 points to get Ricky or something like that?
250.
250, okay. You can get that in basically 2 swings, depending on how good your RNG is. There's like a 130 that can spawn straight in the middle. That's really easy to hit.
Yeah, it is, though the catch is it's really easy to lose points.
Yeah, but that's why afterwards you just gotta... Basically, all you have to do is hit the ball and hit it in a direction. So you just hit him to the left and then you get 0. I got really good at that minigame. I was able to hit max points basically on everything when I was a kid. I can't do it anymore, almost certainly.
Yeah, it's also a little bit cruel that the ball's speed is randomized. So sometimes you get these fast balls, sometimes you get the slow ones. And if you miss, you lose 50 points, which is a pretty hefty penalty. So Muir is moving on, is in the graveyard here, and this segment here for Dungeon 3 is also where we get to meet our 3 animal companions for the first time. The game gives you a little bit of an opportunity to learn about each of these animals before you commit to the one that you want to be your companion for the rest of the game. First up is Moosh, which is seems like an appropriate critter for Muir to be familiar with, given that they share about half of their names together. And Moosh, for no good reason, is a giant blue bear who has wings. And Muir discovers that if you hold that A button, Moosh is just going to butt slam straight into the ground.
Yeah. And Moosh is also, like, you can tell, he's kind of got shitty wings, so he can't really fly that well. He's also so terrified of water that if he sees it beneath him, he'll become paralyzed and immediately plummet straight into water.
Yep.
Which, you figure if you're terrified, that would be the opposite reaction. But, you know, paralytic fears and all of that jazz.
Oh, looks like Nighty has found Bippin and Blossom's house, and what name is Nighty going to go for? Nighty is going to name Bippin and Blossom's kid Alpha.
Hell yeah. Let's see what kind of asshole I turn out to be. Because if you, and I think he's already missed one of the checks, which is one that gives you the highest way of becoming the super duper slacker guy, is if when he's a kid, you spend like a bunch of rupees on making sure that he's sick and he's pampered, he just turns out into the worst kind of person. So I don't think that those are going to be the options that are taken. So I should end up either like Pippin and Blossom, or you know, or emulating Link. Hopefully, those are the good endings.
So
there's one where he becomes a rock and roll star, which is also good.
Yeah, and like I mentioned before, we're not going to find out the outcome of these decisions in today's goal. This is going to stretch through the entirety of the segmented race before we get to find that out, including the sequel, The Legend of Zelda: Oracle of Seasons. So it looks like Muir is making pretty good steady progress here. Muir has found Cheval's grave, has gotten the rope and the flippers. So we now have the ability to swim. However, this game has two kinds of water. You have normal water that you swim in like every Zelda game, and then you've got the special, really deep water that you can't swim in.
Yeah, the ocean currents are way too strong. As you can see, like, the seas are constantly super rough. If you're just going in them with regular flippers, you're just gonna drown. Like, basically, imagine the entire thing is a ripped current.
And so Zenic Reverie has also visited Bippin and Blossom's house, and has also chosen the name Alpha for their child.
I feel like someone discussed this.
I just mentioned in the paste spin that this was a side quest that Alpha was very enthusiastic about.
Well, that'll be curious. That will certainly be interesting how it turns out. I'm not gonna read the paste, but I'm here for the Tokay and hopefully people spending 300 rupees on a horn.
So it looks like someone has also found the rope and the flippers, and Nighty is also in the underground area. So our players are making pretty steady progress here. Zenic is spending some time in town, chatting with the biologist here, who gives you lots of hints about the different animals that you can meet. And I like the Legend of Zelda questions. Like, you talk to the NPC and they're like, hey, I need this rope in order to advance the plot of the game. May I have it? You know, and you'd be like, yes, or you could be like, heck no.
Yeah, Link's kind of a pain. Loud plane flying overhead, but I'm almost to my computer, so I can almost see what everybody's doing.
Well, we've still got plenty more race today. I imagine this is going to take some 2 to 3 hours for everybody to get
I
through
expect everybody to be on the island of Tokay until everybody decides to quit the race.
That's probably a reasonable result.
That is one of the weirdest and coolest areas of, I think, in any Zelda game.
It's not an unusual mechanic. Breath of the Wild has a very similar thing where you land on an island and then you have to find all your stuff again.
Yeah, but that was more of an homage paid to Link's Awakening, considering also the name of the island is the same.
Well, yes.
But, you know.
Ooh, someone getting a very good ring here. Someone getting the red joy ring that gives you double rupees. That's a pretty nice ring.
The shame rupees really don't matter super much past Dimitri.
Well, there's a couple of things. There's buying Dimitri's flute. There is, and the players will get a hint about it in a later pay spin, there is one point in the game where you do need to buy a potion in order to make a plot advancement. And potions are kind of pricey.
That. Yeah, they're 200, I believe.
300.
Ah, 300.
Unless you're lucky, like some of our players, and you manage to get one either out of a gacha seed, or you manage to get Maple to drop one.
Yeah, and it's always good when Maple drops it. I can't remember how far do you have to take the trade sequence in this game? Because I know in one of them, you have to take the trade sequence X far.
The trade sequence in this one, I believe, is completely optional. You can do absolutely none of it and finish the game.
Okay, I think you have to do some of it in seasons.
That might be true.
However, if you have played seasons before, you don't have to do any of it. That is the easiest level 2 sword. It is not locked behind the trade sequence. I won't spoil it in case someone goes and watches the VOD, because that's a free level 2 sword.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so Nighty is a little bit lost here. After you have gotten the rope and the flippers, Rafton is like, hey, you're not allowed to actually go out to sea unless you have a sea chart. And Nighty is like, I'm drawing my own map literally all the time. Why do I need this? But you do have to get a sea chart, and the game gives you absolutely no guidance whatsoever where this is found. The players will find that they have to go back to the present, and then they have to talk to one of the most polarizing characters in the Zelda universe. They do have to find Tingle, the fairy want-to-be, and have to get a map from him.
Yeah, the one thing that's consistent in Tingle in all of his main game appearances is that Tingle draws some damn good sea charts.
Yes, he does.
That's about it. He makes, all those treasure maps in Oracle of or in Wind Waker. He draws the charts you need to do the stuff in Majora's Mask, and then in this game he gets you the sea chart.
Yeah.
And then whatever it is. Oh, he didn't draw any charts in. I forgot he's in Minish Cap. He doesn't draw any charts in Minish Cap, does he?
No, I don't believe so. He just trades you kinstones in that game.
He might give you some form of map. I don't know.
I do know that in Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land, you play as Tingle, and a major game mechanic is mapping out every area you visit for money.
Yeah, so it's core to his character.
That is correct. I don't know. Is he a playable character in Hyrule Warriors or any of those games?
I think he might be in the original one. He's definitely not in Age of Calamity. I haven't picked up the Switch version of the original Hyrule Warriors yet. Just because, one, I played it a ton on the Wii U, but it also has all the extra DLC, and I think even more DLC, because why not?
So it looks like Zenik is starting to branch out explorations, and hopefully we'll be visiting the graveyard soon, where he will find his next bit of plot advancement. Oh no, heading to town? Nope. Zenik is going to cut down every single one of these blades of grass to find all those hidden rupees and hearts. Of course, those who are fans of the Zelda series know that all of those items hidden in the grass and in the vases, that's because of the Minish people. They hide all those. So that's a little bit of important Zelda lore.
Which, they haven't brought the Minish back up ever again. Maybe it's because the door slammed shut for 1,000 years and they all left. Because Body's an ass.
Yeah,
But
that could
Body's
be.
shown back up. And is one of the only big bads to be permanently killed.
Yeah, it's really difficult to permanently kill anybody in the Legend of Zelda series.
Well, it's very specifically difficult to kill Ganondorf. Because of, you know, the things that happened in Skyward Sword, and Ganondorf basically hijacking a resurrection cycle that was plotted by a god.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So this is going to be a little bit of a tricky goal. This introductory segment is requires you to talk to a lot of NPCs in inconvenient spots.
This whole segment talks to, like, all of the NPCs of 2 towns across 2 timelines. It's insane. And then a bunch of other NPCs you would never ever interact with. There isn't really an equivalency to this in Oracle of Seasons.
No,
Like,
Oracle
I would almost say that
Seasons
Seasons is a much shorter game because there's not as much. Like, there's a dungeon, you don't even have to do anything. You can do dungeons out of order in Seasons. I don't think you can in Ages unless you do D2 skip. But...
Yeah, this game definitely takes it to a little bit of an extreme for the classic Zelda formula. Lots of puzzling to try to get to the next segment of the game. It looks like Zenik is taking another dip here into the fairy forest, trying to figure out where to go next. But once the players have given the rope to Cheval, or not to Cheval, given the rope to Rafton, the raft maker, you have to find Ricky, and here he is. Ricky is hanging out near the graveyard, but he says he's lost his gloves. The legend of where's the next story trigger is absolutely right. I think this is probably the worst. Like, Dungeon 3 is the worst for it, this first part. The rest of it is kind of logical, either because it sends you to an area and then you know all the story triggers are in this one area to explore. Alright, Natty found that glove pretty quickly. Zenik Reverie has decided that he is going to dig a hole in every single square of property here to figure out how to get a single bush. Of course, a lot of this is backtracking because you have to come back once you have the ability to travel back and forth through time. Now, this is an opportunity for the players to get a little bit of the trade quest done if they haven't done so already. The trade sequence is completely optional. In the previous goal, they could have found the clock in the graveyard. There's a little friendly ghost. There's a friendly ghost who gives you the clock, and if you take the clock to the postman in the present age, he will trade you the stationery, and then you give the stationery to the disembodied hand, and the disembodied hand uses it to do something, and you get a stink bag for it. So any players who have a stink bag when they started this goal are all caught up in the trade sequence. Yeah, it's kind of surprising, especially coming out of Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, which had the phone boosts that would give you hints pretty much at any time. This one, you're pretty much stuck with just, you talk to the Maku tree and she's just like, hey, it's in the South Sea. No, that's the only hint you get. Zenik sees that this is a very suspicious piece of terrain, but there's nothing that can be done with the current equipment. The good news is Zenik is just one screen away from finding the answer to his problem. And here we go. And suddenly... oh, no. Wait. Moosh isn't here. I guess Zenik hasn't even triggered the correct dialogue yet. Needs to go back in time and needs to talk to Cheval. So at this point, Nighty's got a sea chart, and we'll be able to get a raft. And I think someone also has a sea chart, which means both of them are going to be moving on to the next segment of the goal, the Tokay Island segment. Which, if you've played this game, this is one that you definitely remember, since it's a fairly lengthy segment. And it's one of those kind of fun segments where they recognize that the fun of the game is collecting all of these items, and that they want to play around with that. And so Nighty is no longer playing Oracle of Ages. Nighty is now playing Link's Awakening, having crash landed onto an island, lost all of his equipment. So we can see here on Nighty's screen, we've got this statue that's closed mouth. This is going to be something I'm going to point to a little bit later. But for now, we notice that that statue is closed in the past.
Okay.
Welcome back, Alpha.
Yeah. I finished my lunch. I'm going to switch over to my computer, and I'll be able to watch what people are doing. Explain why they're doing it wrong.
Yep, that sounds about right. Muware is had to AFK for a few minutes, so we won't see much action going on. Oh, there it is. Muware's right back. That decides to pass on the 50 rupees for a shield. That's probably the right decision. I think you can get a cheaper shield on the other side of the island. So Zenik's first step here, Zenik does need to go back in time to the past and needs to find Cheval. And that will be the next progression for Zenik. We're still looking for that sea chart.
Okay. these runners.
Yeah, we do have 5 racers in today's race. We've got Zenik Reverie, Muware, Nighty, and Someone325 are all here on the big screen. And we do have in the background Anisep is playing along, and I believe Anisep said previously that they're not blind to the game. They did play this ages ago, and they're
are Muware and Nighty blind?
Yeah, Muware and Nighty are playing.
Okay, excellent. That's what I want to hear. As yeah, I just see Nighty. So the Tokay Island, very fun. It's also got a banger of a soundtrack that you could end up listening to for days. But this is the longest trading sequence, and very mandatory, in fact. As you can't get that chest. What item could possibly get you over there?
Yeah, this is a sort of a fun thing, because you play through a Zelda game and you collect all these items, and there's this progression of finding all of these pieces of equipment and advancing. But once you get the equipment, you've got it. And
alright, Nighty's found bombs. That's really good.
Yep. Yeah, Nighty's making good progress here. The first part of this is not too challenging, I think.
It depends. Is there soft soil on this island? I don't remember.
I don't think that there's any soft soil in the parts you can reach during this segment.
I think you might be able to, I think at the top of one of the cliffs there's soft soil. And yeah, as you can see, there's nice bomb drops. Because you can waste your bombs doing basically everything, so they gotta be able to give them to you back. That guy's got flippers, but you need the feather.
Alright, so at this point, Zenik doesn't realize it, but he has hit an important plot trigger, and he'll know that when he steps outside and Ralph shows up.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I think Zenik is has explored literally everything, and so finding this guy...
Well, he hasn't used the power bracelet on a bookshelf yet.
Well,
which, depending on what room it is, can cause some interesting effects. This game is a little buggy, suffice to say.
It is
and
a
for whatever
Game Boy
reason,
Zelda.
you can lift like half the bookshelves in the game, and they turn into staircases that lead nowhere.
Alright, so hopefully Zenik got the hint here from Ralph that he needs to go back to the present and look for a grave. And there's one really good spot to find graves in the present, so hopefully he zeroes in on that very quickly.
Yeah. They're trading back and forth with a shovel, because you need shovel, too. They made shovelable blocks. Oh, Nighty's gonna find the most important room.
The Wild Tokay Room.
This is the best minigame.
And you get a great piece of dialogue here. You cannot play this game if you cannot lift meat.
So I think Nighty knows what that means. It means he grabbed his feather for nothing, and he's gonna go back and get his hoop. No, you gotta give him your feather back, yeah, and then you swap. Very complicated.
Yeah, this Tokay
Just refuses to do a straight up swap.
Yeah, this Tokay is really specific about it. Give me back the feather, and then I'll let you trade this for that.
So, the biggest shame about this is that we won't be able to watch, likely we won't be able to see the second run through of this, although depending on how many passwords people do, maybe.
Alright, Nighty doing... has a little bit of rocky
He
start
misses the
there.
first one, but it's not super fast. The password Tokay game gets insanely fast. I think you need, like, it's just so hard. And if you miss one of them, it's over, so you have to be extremely precise as well. The red one is the last one. And you get a prize.
Yeah, you get the... I think the seedling?
Yeah, you got a scent seedling. It's the only mandatory play of that, but that has increasing difficulties and is probably one of the wildest Zelda games, or Zelda minigames. It is insane. Whereas I see, just off screen, Anisep's having some problems, because yeah, if you input down, it's bad. Eddie knows exactly where to take this seedling. And this Tokay has nothing to do, so he'll take care of it for a long time. Which I guess might feel like only like 20 years or something like that, I don't know.
Yeah, it's really ambiguous how much time there is between the past and the present.
Well, no, the past and the future is 400. They're very clear about that.
Oh. Okay.
It's just how long the Tokay actually takes care of that tree. Like, cause it's not, it like basically just has to be there long enough for it to start growing. I have some trees that are growing in my garden right now I probably need to cut down.
Yeah, or maybe it's one of those...
against my porch.
Maybe he just gets bored of it right away, and it's just, the tree would have been fine without him.
Very possible. However, like, what do these lizards have to do other than get meat thrown at them? Like, nothing. Also, the Tokay, a race that I'm upset that they haven't put in a single Zelda game.
Yeah, that's true. They, like... after the Ocarina of Time, they seem to have really like stuck with them. Like Gorons turned into Zelda canon.
They added, although it's a little convoluted and confusing, they added the Rito, which were supposed to evolve from Zoras, but not anymore? Question mark. Maybe they'll bring back the Tokay, but. It's also possible you can just forget about them. They're not native to Hyrule. They're native to Lavina.
So yeah, these are all ideas for Alpha's Legend of Zelda fan game that he will be producing in the next few years.
Maybe. I would love to see another just exactly this style of game, but game design's hard. I'm not going to pretend like I can do it. I could make the game, but I couldn't make it good.
Well, we might see a Legend of Zelda Seasons and Ages sort of remake in the style of the Link's Awakening remake.
It depends on... Well, I mean, it doesn't depend on whether or not Capcom wants money. They want money, of course, but what it really depends on is just... whether or not they want to remake it, because it was with Project Flagship, so the rights are probably a little weird. And this is something they changed between Link's Awakening and the Oracle games, that the buttons you have do different things underwater. But what's this? You need both the bracelet and the feather. How is this possible? I just heard for the speedrun for this game basically skips the lose item portion of it, so they just go to the end. The
speedrun does lose the items, but they cheat the system. Normally you're supposed to go through the whole thing and get the scent seeds, and they use a bug that if you pick up an item from the Tokay who trades you at the same time as doing something else, it'll duplicate
it. With the equip swap. Just take it.
So as a result, there's like extra feathers and extra shovels, so that you can pick up an extra shovel and then you just trade them all the stuff without ever getting the scent seeds.
Yeah, it's like they do something. You get your seed satchel back, but that's pretty important. You need that one.
I mean, do you think that the seed satchel's made of some like special material, or is it just a pretty ordinary bag?
I think it has to be made of special material because it has to be able to contain ember seeds, which are so hot they burn your hands. Oh, don't jump down there! You'll crush the sapling. Oh no!
It's okay.
I was worried about that.
It.
They better. Meanwhile, everybody's just twirling around the Tokay Islands, save for Zenik and Muir, who haven't quite made it there yet.
But they're making good progress here. Zenik is turning in the rope now and is going to be sent off to find a sea chart. We do have Muware, I think has the sea chart now, so he's ready to make his way to the island.
Okay, so now Nighty, with his... has a hoop and a feather. Because he had the mystery seeds. So was finally able to afford both of them, but can't have a shovel yet. And you do need shovel to complete the whole thing. Which I just think is a fun... They made the shovel very useful in this game. Like, you can skip shield with shovel. You can shovel the dirt. That's basically it.
So here Zenik gets the most useless hint of all. Says, "Oh, you need a sea chart? I heard a weird guy has sea charts." It's like that description is of no use whatsoever.
It's not. So when I was a kid, and I remember this, he says like a weird floating guy has them or something like that.
Yeah, if he said weird floating guy, that would be a big hint.
Yeah. But basically, it's like if you've seen that guy wandering around the map casually, and he says like some strange man has it, that guy's probably the strangest guy you've come across.
Probably.
But you have to have seen it. So Nighty realizing, oh, the only way to go to the future is to get my shovel back. So he's got to go get his shovel back, but then how does he get over to that portal? So there's another portal elsewhere, is really the spoiler. And now, just got to navigate the future Tokay Island, which was opened by a Tokay with no tail, as the Tokay lore goes. You'll see in the center. There's a winding island maze between the... Yeah. Also, it took 400 years for the chickens to grow up. That's not actually what happened, they're different chickens, but it's funny. This is also amusing. There are real Tokay that stand in the Wild Tokay Museum. And if you insert the right passwords, you can play it. And it is insanely difficult.
So this is a game mechanic that's been a part of Zelda for a very long time. If there's a pushable rock, you can only push it one space. Why can you only push rocks one space?
I think it's because well... Oh yeah, the stink... Okay, here we go. The stink bag. Nighty getting stink bag.
Nighty trades the stink bag for a chunk o' meat.
Yeah, which... They'll find the guy to do that. I can't imagine they'll miss him. But Nighty, you saw the vines. You actually needed those vines. You gotta get up and over. Because all these caves have closed up over the past 400 years. It's very complicated to get around this island now.
Alright, so the next progression that Zenik needs to do, Zenik needs to head back over near the graveyard. With some luck, he might make that a more of a priority because
and here's the soft soil.
Okay.
I remembered it being on top.
Oh, yep, that's true. Yeah, that'll be something interesting to see if the players keep track of where they found soft soil and make sure to revisit and pick up their gasha nuts.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about seasons and how we're going to have to be very careful with the goals, because you can do certain things out of order, because Seasons just lets you. Ages does not. But yeah, there's 2 eyeballs in there now, and the mouth is open. So the legend must have come true.
The legend of the tailless Tokay.
Yes.
So at this point...
Tailless green Tokay. Very specific, because there are red Tokay.
So at this point, you know, we've kind of worked this out, that apparently things that you do in the past already have happened. You know, that's sort of a, oh, that's how this is going to work sort of thing. Except for that's not necessarily how it's going to continue to work.
I think if you look at Lina City as as where the weird things happen, now that I think about it, the fact that Varen has stopped time and also not stopped time probably allows for some of those extreme oddities to occur. Whereas maybe the Tokay Island, surrounded by its whirlpools and natural coral reef, is completely defended by from Viren's insanity.
So you think that coral reefs prevent time travel from happening?
No, whirlpools plus coral reefs.
Oh, okay.
That are made out of, like, stone. Yeah, it's a combo. Nighty has forgotten which portal he's got to go through, but he has all his items.
Yep, Nighty has collected
I actually think
everything.
he's in the lead now.
Yeah, I would say right
Really,
now...
he's forgotten what cave to go in. You can't go here. You need an item you get in this segment. It's actually one. Oh, wait, maybe no. You might need the other one. It's actually one of my favorite items. I'm so excited for Dungeon 4. It's so cool.
Yeah, I'd say
This
right
dungeon,
now...
take it or leave it. This dungeon sucks.
Nighty's probably in the lead. I think someone 325 is just behind him. Muir is a little bit behind them, and then Zenek is pulling up the rear, but having found Ricky, I think he's gotten through the most difficult part of this. This is the most confusing part.
Yeah. God, I would like to be able to play these games again for the first time. It's just, I've played them so many times. And actually, my Seasons cart, I don't know if I have to reflow solder on one of the chips or just clean the hell out of the contacts, but my Season cart is dead. But I also own them on 3DS, so...
Alright, and Zenek has gotten to chat with Tingle, and Tingle loves you so much he gives you an absolutely free chart of the ocean.
Yeah, so Nighty's gotta figure out where to go from here, but there are caves here. Nice fairy. Not helpful. I don't think any fairy fountain has ever been helpful, but it has to just go through this maze of trees. Nighty, just go up. You haven't been there.
I think Nighty's got an issue here that he unequipped his sword, and he's struggling more than a little bit with this. Oh shoot, I put a harp instead of my sword.
Yeah. I've actually found when I was replaying some of these, that the muscle memory of Feather Broken OP, just jump spin slash all the time, is really hard to lose when I play the, when I play Link's Awakening so often.
Here we go,
Level
Nighty has
3,
made it
Moolah
into
Drop.
Dungeon 3. It took 45 minutes, but I imagine this dungeon will go pretty quickly.
Yeah, someone got lost somewhere. Like, I'm not sure where someone is lost, but Anisep, who spent, I want to say 15 minutes on the Wild Tokay game, is now ahead of someone.
Oh, good.
Okay, so there's the Pole's voice. What do you think destroys Pole's voice?
Bombs, obviously. They hate loud noises.
Just play the harp.
They hate loud noises, and what noise is louder than a bomb exploding?
Yeah, but apparently it's Link's playing of the harp.
Yeah, that is true. You can kill the Pole's voice instantly by simply playing the harp. That's sort of a... I don't know if there's somebody here who gives you that hint. That's almost you have to remember it because you've played classic Zelda, sort of.
Yeah, like, so... I know that, like, the reason I knew how to do all of that, or, like, was because somewhere I have the Zelda 1 instruction book, and it explains how Pole's voice works, and that, in that game it didn't work because of how the flute thing worked, but if you played the flute, and I never got that far when I was a kid, so it didn't matter, it was supposed to kill them instantly, but that was only in the Famicom version, because that was compatible with the Famicom microphone. It's how you played the flute. So it wasn't the flute, but it was you screaming into a microphone. This one, yeah, you just gotta play the harp.
So, Nighty finding one of the new dungeon gimmicks here that is exclusive to the Oracle's games. This sort of turnstile thing that you step on it and it rotates you 90 degrees to the left or the right.
It makes Dungeon 8 really cool. If I'm thinking I might be thinking of Seasons. No, I'm thinking that this is the right Dungeon 8. I really like everything about this Dungeon 8, so... just throw the bomb. Okay, there we go. He figured it out. And now there is a block he can push and solve the puzzle.
So Zenik wants to get on this raft, and the dude's like, oh, get on this raft. And no, it's not this thing in here. You have to go outside the door. There it is.
Yeah, well, you can't quite go over there, Nighty. I don't know why he wasted an extra set of bombs, but this room drops bombs at a very high rate because you need them in order to exit. The game never expects you to abuse save and quit. Because, you know, that's kind of bad game design.
Yeah, there's a couple of places here where if the players decide to use save and quit, that they will wind up saving a lot of time doing so.
Yeah, just usually with backtracking, the one thing that resets with save and quit, which makes it not great a lot of the time, are these rotating platforms. If Nighty goes up here, he'll understand the puzzle. Or, no, he's got to go around and find that from the top left. So he's looking for something. And maybe he's figured out the puzzle of this room.
Alright, so we got two players that are currently exploring the dungeon. We have Muware is making his way around here to pick up those absconded flippers.
Alright, Nighty has figured out the secret of getting a key in this room, all as arduous as it may be. There's really not a good way to do that. He gets a key for his trouble.
So, I mean, you get the compass, and the compass makes a sound. So, does the compass have, like, a
you don't have
speaker?
a compass yet. You don't have a compass yet.
No? But you do eventually get your compass, right?
Oh yeah, it's just a new feature. That's all you need to know about it.
It's got a speaker installed directly in the compass.
You know, you just have to be alerted to its new feature, and it's basically because all the other Zelda games, all the compass did was tell you where the boss was. It did nothing else, and it was basically super useless. So now Nighty should know that if he goes through that, he wants to fall down the hole first, though. Understandable. If he goes through there, that's one of the rooms in the game that the state is saved every time you enter and exit. Taking advantage of that extra memory that the Game Boy Color has. It was the stopgap system, and yeah, you can't solve that puzzle quite yet. It was actually released because they had basically plans for a Game Boy Advance to also basically be released around 1996. And it wasn't quite getting where they wanted it to, like it was too expensive or just burning all your batteries, like couldn't get the tech there, so they made the Game Boy Color. A lot of Game Boy lore.
I'm a little surprised that Nighty is using the bombs here in the Pole's voice. I would think of all of the players in this race, Nighty would be the one most likely to have that classic Zelda
Yeah,
knowledge.
I mean, the game's gonna drop a ton of bombs anyway, because they don't expect you to have it. But... Don't go up there, you just opened a door by killing it, so go down.
So this Tokei, he's just standing around holding a shovel over his head. You know, like, he's not trying to use it.
There's a crystal switch there. So how do you hit that switch? You gotta be good with your bombs. And that showcases that crystal switches are different. They don't always move pegs up and down. Also, that Armos Knights suck.
Yeah, Nighty having a little bit of trouble there.
Oh, getting lucky! And now you have the compass.
Yeah, the intended solution there is Nighty needs to make use of those scent seeds that he most recently got. It's really easy to forget that they are actually a thing in this game.
Yeah, so as you can see, okay, this room is nice. It gives you a pattern, and obviously it's Zelda, so just duplicate the pattern.
Yep.
And gets another key. Should probably head back downstairs and go through that other place he didn't see before. We'll see what he does. He might jump over. Electing to go back down. Can't disagree.
Nighty remembers a path that he didn't take before, and he is definitely taking the other path.
I'm worried about Crown Dungeon. Crown Dungeon is just the biggest mess. And that's a very important place to go. Our Nighty needs one more. You know the number of pillars you have to destroy is always 4. And Nighty, I'm pretty sure knows this puzzle.
Yeah, I think Nighty's got it worked out in his head pretty quickly here.
Yeah. They are, those things and just accessing them. I really wish they made more Zelda games in this style. I felt like Minish Cap was kind of a, while still a good game, is a much worse game than both Oracle's games.
Yeah, it was.
It's like oh, it's an 8.5 out of a 10 out of 10 game. Like.
Yeah, it was. I felt like it was kind of heavy on the gimmick. The kinstone mechanic wasn't really as fun as it could be, and I felt like the fewer dungeons were not as much fun. Ooh,
Chinese Minish Cap was fun, but that was its own special beast.
Yeah, Chinese Minish Cap is the best Zelda game created.
World record holder, by the way. Oh man.
How many people in the history of the world do you think have completed that game?
How many people were in that race? That many people plus like 7.
On the other hand, maybe that's really popular. Like, if you went to China, you'd find just a bunch of folks who like, oh yeah, I had that game as a kid and I played through it and it was fun. And I beat it a bunch of times because it was the only game I had.
I don't know, maybe. Dropping the Zols. It's so interesting that Zelda has like 6 different names for enemies that are slimes. And then there's also chews instead of buzzblobs. They're different.
I mean, some of it is they kind of got bored of it. I think that it's, well, you want to come up with your own unique name, because if you call everything a slime, you're just turning into Dragon Quest.
Well, yeah, but it's not that they're calling everything a slime. It's that they're like, okay, you can have a difference between chews and those, and buzzblobs I guess are different because when you hit them with your sword they electrocute you, but now there's also electric chews, but I guess they're different because they are vulnerable sometimes. But then you have bots, gels, Zols. They're all the they're all basically the same. What was that last one?
Eye slime.
You mean slime eye?
Or whatever. Still don't think any of the players in the dungeon have picked up on using scent seeds to make their job easier.
Honestly, I never thought about using scent seeds as a kid.
Then we have Nighty fighting the Mimics, one of the easiest Zelda enemies ever created. So much so that you question why they even exist in the game. Nighty lit this torch and he has no idea why.
Yeah, but so the seed shooter is a great item for puzzles for sure. The only knock against it I could ever say is that if you play this game the other way around, you have to shoot seeds at a boss that is shared between both games. And it makes that boss marginally harder than the equivalent of the seed shooter in Seasons.
Yeah, the seed shooter is really, it's a puzzle item because you can use it to fire these precise shots at angles and they expect you to ricochet. And as we'll see,
Meanwhile, Ages is just like, this one does more damage.
this one just shoots a bunch of bullets in the general direction you aimed and have fun.
Yeah, you're not gonna miss. It's so easy to just wreck things with that, and you can skip like 3 phases on a boss because of it.
So our players are collecting a good amount of money here. We see Nighty's got 150 rupees, someone's got almost 200 rupees, Zenix's at 200 rupees. The only one who is not quite loaded with all of this cash is Muware, and Muware has failed the Wild Toke game. A Toke went home hungry.
Yeah, Toka game is hard. And so there's a nice Gacha Seed. I remember that being in Gacha Seed for whatever reason. For Nighty. As I see someone fighting mimics. They're a lot less threatening than they are in Link's Awakening. In Link's Awakening, they do 3 hearts of damage. And are immune to normal sword slashes. You can only spin slash and boots them. But you don't exactly get those options in this, so...
Man,
So
you know...
this is a neat puzzle.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Nighty solving this little tricky puzzle here, which involves just pushing every block until you find the 3 blocks that you're actually allowed to push.
Yeah, so I believe it's like you can only get it from the left side, so you have to angle shots real cool. Try the or I guess right-hand side. You push them left. Gets the first one. It's a little hard, and then gets it. I think they can go out and get Gacha Seed.
Yeah, so...
Like, the things you do with the seed shooter in this game, I just love. I love it, all of it.
Yeah, most of the dungeons have like 2 optional puzzles that you can solve, and they get you either a ring or a Gacha Seed or something like that. Zenic Reverie completing the Wild Toke game. Of course, you see it as a mechanic in video games all the time, that you see just a giant chunk of meat on a bone. But that's not something that you really, like... You can get a turkey leg, but that's about as close as you can get. Like, the idea of just getting, like, a giant chunk of beef that's on a femur, that sounds delicious, but, like, there's no place you can actually go to get that.
It's gotta be somewhere in Japan, because it's always anime. I see it referenced a lot. Like, I'm pretty sure Goku eats half like that. Okay, so this is a fun boss fight. I hope he can figure out how to beat him. As long as he's underground, his attacks don't scare him.
So would you say, is being underground better or worse than not being able to hurt him without his when he has his bottle?
It's worse, because that you can't hurt him when he has his bottle. I mean, and this guy just sucks. Yeah, meanwhile, the genie we just break.
Yeah, a lot of the mini bosses in this series, they go down pretty quick. Especially if you have taken the time to get the level 2 sword, or you've gotten one of the attack up rings. You can
I'm a little worried about how the end of this whole thing is gonna go if they only have level 1 sword edited into the final boss.
Yeah, the final boss you can defeat with the level 1 sword. It just takes twice as many slashes.
Yeah, and you can only damage him with spin slashes.
I don't think that's correct. I think that's wrong.
Well, no, because with the level 2 sword, you can only damage with spin slashes. Level 3 is the only one that you can damage with regular slashes.
Not certain. But maybe we'll find out. Alright, so Zenic is making his way through the island, picking up some more goodies here. He's got a feather, has got a sword. Since they finished the Wild Toke game, I think at this point needs to find what has happened to the harp. Because in order to use the seedling, you are going to need to get back to the present.
Okay, so to damage the final boss, in order to hurt him, you either have to get one of the password swords, or you have to use spin slashes.
Okay, I stand correct.
And yeah, because I tried to fight him once with the level 2 sword, and it's hard. It's really hard. Because he also has a billion health. And now he's just chucking through this goal. And dropping a scent seed there, maybe we'll remember what they do. But scent seeds are the best seed for damage. It's very important.
So what do you think a scent seed smells like? You think that they might be like a citrus sort of?
I would say yeah, I would say citrus. I can imagine it smelling like oranges.
I mean, they've got kind of a yellow color to them, so that makes sense.
I mean, they look orange. They're orange. You don't, for this first one, you don't actually have to waste a scent seed there, but it makes it a lot way easier shot. There are a lot of weird things that you can do to skip puzzles in this game with, just banking scent seed shots.
Yeah, and this game is going to make you bank more than a few scent seeds to get through.
Like, right where Nighty was, if you jump good, you can land on that platform and skip, like, most of the dungeon. So, Nighty knows where he's gotta go, mostly. And, maybe solved it? Think, yeah, knows exactly where to go. It's just a pain.
And you're gonna use a quick save and quit here to get out of having to go back through the whole dungeon.
See, I'm not sure if that works on the basis that, I don't remember if that also saves the rotator, but maybe it does, and Nighty's fine. Nope. So, he's just gotta, what he's actually gotta do, which saves more time, is just walk to the warp. That way he doesn't have to do, like, a whole sequence again.
Mighty Metric Batman saying, didn't know the Oracle series looks so much like Link's Awakening Deluxe. I mean, I think that they're running pretty similar engines.
Yeah, I was told that they are different engines, they just reused a ton of the assets. However, I love the art style anyway. I wish they'd make more exactly with that art style, please. Like, it just works. It's smooth. Like, the one thing I hate about newer games a lot of the time is, like, for the sake of graphics, everything feels laggy as you move.
Yeah, there's a simplicity to this game where the graphics are pretty, but they're functional. They didn't waste a lot of effort and space trying to make them you know, big chunky sprites.
Yeah.
Oh, good on Zenik. Zenik spotting this little hidden area. This is important because this is where Zenik is going to get the next item.
Okay, so Nighty, recognizing, gotta get the siege shooter out. And it's just gonna try and do it through there, but there's a reason why that switch, let's stand on it. And we'll be moving on to the boss, which I think is one of the more interesting bosses. They really make you fight the bosses with the item of the game.
Most of them, yes. Someone is already on the boss.
Yeah, so the whole gimmick here is that if you ever look at her, she just leaves. So you have to attack her without ever seeing her, and I think she shouts as much at you.
Yeah, I think someone has got the idea. I think she does say something like, "You can't look at me" or something.
Yeah, well, Nighty's about to get there, so let's find out.
Alright, so now that Zenik has the...
You cannot see who I am, for I am your shadow.
Zenik has picked up the seed satchel. Hopefully Zenik remembers that he can spend a couple of these mystery seeds to buy back one of his items.
Good equip on the feather.
Nice. Someone getting the clear on the boss of Dungeon 3.
Yeah. I think Nighty should figure it out because the bats she spawns throw a ton of seeds at you.
Well, plus the default decision in a Zelda game is, well, if I can't figure out how to beat the
Nighty's
boss...
potion, but that's honestly helpful. He didn't die, so he doesn't have to walk all the way back. And oh, had the power ring equipped, so was taking. I was noticing he was taking a weird amount of damage. He was taking like 1.5 times.
Yeah,
that's that one power ring, yeah.
Yeah, and this is a situation where Nighty realizes that this power ring isn't doing him any favors. He's not using a sword, so a ring that boosts his sword damage isn't really helpful.
Yeah, sense seeds are the go-to do damage to things. Mystery seeds out of the seed shooter do a lot of weird stuff. Ember seeds just kind of set things on fire, and we'll get to the other seeds later.
Yeah, we will see one of the other seeds in the skull.
Yeah. You know, when someone tries to drop a bunch of seeds in a toilet, and then leave while someone's complaining. Oh, she didn't attack Nighty that time. And Nighty gets the kill.
So someone is treating these toke to a couple of ember seeds, and they taste like burning.
So this is the best animal companion in the entire game, Dimitri.
Yeah. So this is the moment of truth. The players were given instructions here that during this segment, this is when they decide which animal companion that they want. That if they
before they go up to the area, I believe they have right now to get any of the three.
Yes, that is correct. That they need to get one of the other two flutes in Luna Village of either the present or the past in order to get a different animal companion if they want somebody other than Moosh to be their friend.
And nobody wants Moosh.
So the easy one to get is if someone just dips into the shop, can spend 150 rupees, can buy a Dimitri flute, and then that'll lock him in with a different companion.
I thought it was 300 for whatever reason.
I think it's only 150.
Okay, there's the shop, but seems to be a lot of confusion.
I think that someone might be thinking of going back in time to get Ricky the kangaroo. Because the paste bin does spoil exactly how much they need. That they do need 100, or they need 250 points in the minigame, or they need to spend 150 rupees to buy Dimitri's flute outright.
Yeah, and Dimitri gives you a lot of access to things that, and it is also so much faster on the overworld that. Like, and they're only saying lost now because if you could take Dimitri places right now, you could just go to a dungeon you really should not be allowed to do. Oh, he's in the advanced shop. He's buying things in the advanced shop. Now he's gonna go play baseball.
Alright, looks like going for the Ricky flute. We'll need to get 250 points across 10 rounds. It's 30 points are gained for a blue block.
Oh, that's a really bad one.
Yeah, 30 points are gained for a blue block. 10 points are lost, or it's 20 points are lost for a red one. Gargoyles are minus 50. Angels are plus 100.
That was a very, very lucky set. As long as he stands there and gets the slow ball, that hit will hit the top right. Oh, you gotta face left and hit. See, that's what you want to do when everything looks terrible.
Ooh, nice. Gets an angel.
Oh, but he misses the other one.
That's...
Okay, this is easy. Just hit it straight.
Ooh, nice.
Just hit it off to the side.
Nicely done. Alright, that's it. First try. Someone picking up the special prize.
He's lost.
gets Ricky the kangaroo's flute.
Yeah. Eddie is trying to figure out where to go with Dimitri. All he's got to do is up.
Alright, Muware has successfully acquired all of the items. I think Zenik might be just slightly behind, because Zenik is in the present, and I'm pretty sure has planted the scent seed tree.
Aw, Nighty's going to the shop. No, get that! Get it, Nighty! It was right there! You don't have any rings.
It's like Nighty's also going to go for Team Ricky.
Dimitri was right there. Could have gotten it.
So it looks like Zenik is also on point with the trade sequence. Traded the stink bag for a chunk o' meat, which Link will stick into his bag, and at some uncertain point in the future may take that back out and give it to somebody.
So, there's a possibility, if Nighty hates this, might just go buy Dimitri.
Maybe he could.
Sure hope he does.
Yeah, someone did very well on that first try, but this is actually a pretty tricky minigame. I wouldn't be surprised if it takes players 10 or 20 attempts to get the...
Which is why you should just go buy Dimitri. Oh no, yep. Total is 190.
It's not quite gonna cut it.
Nope.
Ooh, someone has a chance to get a potion, but I think that not gonna be able.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
no.
too many leaves.
Oh no!
Unless
no.
he got it.
Yeah, Maple prioritized something else for some reason.
Okay, Nighty has quit that. Oh, we never got it. I missed it.
What?
Didn't think he...
Maybe.
Not kidding.
Maybe I was wrong, and when I put 250 points, that's not correct. Maybe you didn't even need that many points. Anyway, Nighty's got a flute, so he's good to go.
Yeah. Won't be seeing Moosh, thankfully.
Oh, Zenik hasn't planted the scent tree. That's where Zenik is stuck right now. Zenik needs to go back in time, plant the scent tree, go back to the future.
Yeah, so this
Wait,
entire
you can
area
pick up
outside
these
of Meta
crystals?
City. What?
You can pick up the crystals.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Huh.
I don't think anybody has ever known that. Because, like, I'm playing Link's Awakening, I'm like, oh yeah, you just slash that with your sword. Obviously. I never tried to pick one up. I don't know anybody who has.
So Nighty stops by to visit Bippin and Blossom again, and after some hesitation decides to throw 50 rupees at Baby Alpha to go buy him some Ritalin.
And it's that not having quite the amount of money needed. Ooh, this is a very, very good Maple. Maple might give him the money he needs. And there's a ring, so all those 20s of rupees right there. I'm just watching this off stream because I want someone to have Dimitri.
Yeah, so Zenik has the sapling. Zenik did the Wild Toke game. For whatever reason, I think he hasn't visited this spot in the past, where there's a helpful Toke who just tells you straight up, hey, just give me that sapling, I'll do it.
Yeah, so This area with the guys, the apprentices to the carpenter, changes depending on whether or not you have what flute you have. Basically, it's like you can't figure out how to get to any of them, and someone somewhere tells you, eventually, a fairy will pop out saying like, hey, this stupid animal's stuck in our forest. Can you fix this? We can't get him to leave because he's freaking out. Nighty also giving the doggy mask. And now gets the dumbbell. That's important.
Yep, so that gets him all caught up. That's going to be helpful because during the next segment is the most convenient time to turn in the dumbbell to advance this quest.
Mm-hmm. Interesting trade for the dumbbell, for sure.
Yeah, so this segment of the overworld is completely different depending on which one of the animal companions that you've selected.
Eddie is looking for equipment, sees Maple, bonks her. No potion drops, but some rupees.
So this is the part where we test how well the players remember last week's goal, because the forest maze is exactly the same layout as it was last week. And so all they need to do is find the most difficult to reach spot and they're good to go.
Someone realizing, oh, there's a bridge there, you can't swim there, so it's annoying.
So I think Zenik is pretty close here. He's just going to need to talk to this little Tokay. Here we go. This is the one that Zenik was missing. So this is one of the rare parts in Zelda where somebody's like, hey, if I had this thing, I could do it. And instead of asking you so that you have the choice to uselessly say, no, I'm not going to give you this plot trigger, he just takes it from you. He just grabs that seedling right out of your hands and shoves it in the ground.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do with it?
Eat it.
I wouldn't eat a sapling. So yeah, Nighty is heading over as well to the forest as someone's just talking to random people.
Alright, someone's also going to turn in the dog mask.
See, the thing I don't like about these, they could have just said no to any of this. And there we go, just up, down, up.
Yep. So Muware is just about to go into the dungeon. First wants to dig a literal snake out of the ground. Now the snakes that you dig up out of the ground are obnoxious, but I feel like it's still, nothing is nearly as obnoxious as in Zelda 3 when you sometimes cut the bushes down and there's just literal landmines underneath them.
Yeah. So Ricky is good, is the second fastest animal in the entire game, if you're doing linked game, even.
Yeah, he's got
Dimitri...
this really fast movement to him that he can hop and attack at the same time. So he goes through real quick. He just jumps straight up these cliffs, so that saves you some time having to navigate the cliffs.
The amount of time Dimitri saves it's like not even that much slower to... I mean, it is slower, for sure, but not even that much slower to Subrosion Dance for 5 straight minutes to get him in seasons.
We're going to see a lot of dancing before this
Yeah.
segmented race is done.
Hey, there's more than one guy, Nighty. You gotta go all of them. Oh wait, maybe you talked to him and didn't say anything.
Yeah, you have to talk to this is confusing, because at this point you know that you're looking for these guys, but no, you have to talk to the boss one more time before his guys will actually show up.
Yeah, they're all like lost or stuck, and then they can just jump way better than you can. So yeah, being
very thorough here, making sure to dig every little bit of soil. What were we gonna say, Alpha?
No, it was like picking Ricky here loses you time, in seasons, like, a bunch. Just because of how much slower, the optional area, and also you don't have to do Dimitri's side quest. Also, you get to access some caves you don't normally get to access.
Yeah, the way this mechanic works is the players have 3 choices of companions. In ages, you can play the minigame to get Ricky. You can purchase the flute for Dimitri, and Moosh is your default. Moosh is the one you get if you just go on with the game without picking up either of the others. Oracle of Seasons, on the other hand, Dimitri is the default, I believe.
No, Ricky.
Is it?
Yes. Ricky is the default. You get Dimitri's flute by Subrosion dancing successfully 10 times after getting the boomerang, which is 5 minutes long. And Moosh, you spend money at the shop. And Moosh is still the slowest, despite the fact that you waste 5 minutes Subrosion dancing.
So at long last, all of our players have managed to make it into dungeon number 3. We're an hour and 25 minutes into here. I think we'll find this dungeon moves along pretty quickly.
You can't talk to people while in a boxing kangaroo someone.
I mean, it is very daunting to, be looking down at them from that kangaroo's pouch.
Now you came all the way over here for a ring.
Some of the rings are pretty useful, though.
He's got power ring level 1. I think is there a level 3 or 4?
Yes.
I think there might be.
Level 3 is the highest one. You can only find the level 3 ring in a linked game. That's the reward for the super dungeon.
Oh, right. Which requires you to beat most of the game. And
yes,
that is definitely helpful on the final boss.
But to get both of those rings, you do have to complete both games in the linked game. That's one of the few things that is preserved between the games is those rings. So you could do a 100% all rings playthrough, which would be the ultimate Legend of Zelda challenge run. Yeah,
so now you're just skipping Symmetry City.
Yeah, nobody cares about
it's too
Symmetry
hot.
City.
Yeah, it's a little important.
So let's keep this in mind here. When we were in the Toki Isle, we found that statue was already open, because apparently in the past we opened up that statue and it made
but the seed sapling wasn't there. It's also possible that we've changed it and that maybe there was a legendary Tailless Tokay that opened it, but we changed the lore.
Yeah. Meanwhile, here in Symmetry City, this town is pretty screwed up, and spoilers, we're gonna have to fix it in the past.
Yeah. So basically, Symmetry City. Everything must always be in symmetry. If, like, one person on the left side of the town needs to leave, someone on the right side of the town's gotta leave.
How do you think that they communicate that? Like, the dude in the top left house and the dude in the top right house, like, how do they decide, like, oh, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go make my breakfast? Like, they just do you hear people
Okay, so-
shouting across town all day?
Yeah, maybe, but they're saying that basically the tuning nut, I think, holds it all together, but the tuning nut's broken.
Yeah, if only somebody had
And then he's
had
gotta
the
go down the
foresight
stairs.
to split the tuning nut down the middle.
Well, it was split down the middle, just also in several other directions, which is what's throwing it.
So there's this kind of annoying guy here in the basement who he keeps saying sway left, sway right, to just make this dialogue unnecessarily be longer.
And he gives you his cheesy mustache. He's working out to get the girls.
Except for, I feel like he's in the worst position of everybody in this town because he has to stay in the middle. Like, everybody else could go anywhere in town. They just need the other person to match him. That dude, he can't go left or right because there is no other person.
That's why he's just swaying, obviously.
Yeah, but he can't even get out of that room because there's no staircase in the middle.
Yeah, so he got injured on the left, so the guy on the right can't leave. And I think, like, I think they make some explanation that basically it's because the tuning nut is broken that all of this shit's happening. And it's being caused by the Black Tower because time is way out of whack. And you could explain some of it basically just by it being everything being really, really out of whack because Varen did a bunch of weird shit with Power of Time, and it stopped and started.
So Nutty's got his tuning nut. I think someone may also have the tuning nut. I didn't catch them, but I'm sure that they found it. This is another area that this one isn't quite as complex as the Tokay Island, but this area is definitely a little bit annoying. The players are going to need to climb up here. They need to get their magic flute ability. And oh no, maybe someone didn't find the hidden portal. You have to cut the bushes to find that.
Yeah. And we are picking up the warp seeds? Whirl seeds? I think it's
Yeah,
whirl
the wind seeds or something like that.
Yeah, basically they let you travel to any century you've already, or like seed tree that you've been to.
Yeah, so the seed trees surprisingly turn out to be checkpoints as well.
Yeah, so Nighty is gonna wander around and have all sorts of problems. And there's a very obvious cave over there.
Someone not chopping those bushes and says not figuring out how to advance here. Oh no, Zenik not solving the puzzle in that room. Alright, heading back. Thinking about it. No.
Does Zenik have the compass?
I don't know.
Anyway. We're gonna learn some stuff today from this guy.
Yep, so Nighty has found this dude who, for some reason, is on the top of this mountain range, which can only be accessed by a person who's capable of traveling back and forth through time. And all this dude has been doing is trying to write a song to time travel.
Yeah, and all he's done is he's giving you the Song of Currents, which only works if you're in the past. It brings you from the past to the future. That's it. Which is incredibly useful. But you know, it's still not omnidirectional. But is required to scale this cliff. Or someone's just lost.
Yeah, so someone's stumped here because they didn't cut down the bushes. This is one of those areas where this game really assumed a particular sort of player, the player who goes onto every screen and cuts down every single bush they encounter, and someone's just not that person.
I think also it's just they expect you to have incidentally revealed it while slashing your sword to get the Whirl Seeds.
Possibly. There are 2 portals there, so you have 2 chances to find
also, you see this destroyed city. There's nothing there, right? So you think, like, okay, well, maybe there's a way to the past. So you've got to find it.
Yep.
So yeah, 90's just got to find the right spot to stand in. You go from the past to the future. Someone, meanwhile, went to go back. And there we go, 4th bush. And is now mad. Nighty finds his progress.
Yep, so now Nighty is playing with a very unique mechanic to the Legend of Zelda series, never before seen. That there are 2 worlds now, and that Nighty has the ability to travel back and forth between those worlds and creates a little sparkling portal when he does so. So hopefully he's
really
able
enjoyed
to...
playing that never before seen, didn't you?
Yes. So hopefully Nighty can adapt to this very unique mechanic.
It is unique in the fact that you can kind of do it wherever, and it's a one-to-one conversion. And also, it's not just the Dark World.
So Zenek having a lot of trouble with these obnoxious Armos Knights. Once again, the way you're expected to do this is you drop a scent seed, and then for some reason this robot is attracted to its citrus fresh scent.
I would just hold the bombs until they're about to explode.
I mean, that's another way to do it.
And then you just drop it on yourself, take the damage, who cares?
Time slow can change the land.
Nope, someone decides has no interest. That couldn't have been made from there. I think that might have just been boulders falling.
Very possible.
Alright, so someone's in the past now, so this is the opportunity to get back to explorating.
Yeah. Yeah, so recognizes you gotta go down here, play the 2 currents, and go to the future. Or the present, I guess.
The present, but it is the future of where he currently is.
It's the only Zelda game where you go back and forth, you go to the past. It's important.
Well, there's another game, it's called A Link to the Past.
Yeah, but you don't go to the past, that's just stating that something happened before. That's different. Whereas, we might see some upgrades coming out soon.
And we see someone sees the only optional visit of Ralph. If you go through that little dead end with those 2 portals, Ralph shows up and he's like, "Hey dummy, you have to climb the mountain." Fighting these meaty dark nuts. These dark nuts take quite a few hits.
Yeah, so Nighty's gotta go back in time. The game doesn't put down these portals for its own health. And so you can either push to the right, or you can figure out the mystery of the area. And mess with the moat and stuff. It's neat. It's neat.
Yeah, there's not a lot of spots in the game that are like this where there's something that you manipulate back and forth to change the present.
Yeah, so Nighty sees this, and actually I think this is gonna be really silly.
Nighty's on the wrong
Because you
side.
have this... It's the right side. That's the side. Oh yeah, no, you have to be on the other side to push it.
Yeah, so this
It's like
one's
it's a very suspicious block.
Yeah, and you just want to leave this on the left. There's a thing on each side, but if you have the rock in this position, the left side has less water, so there's just a little lake there. The right side has more water, so that you could swim over the holes. And hopefully Nighty takes a moment to go up the vine on the left. Excuse me, because there's a little pond there where you can throw something in the pond. And if you throw a bomb into the pond, a helpful fairy will give Nighty a choice of honesty or dishonesty, with a pretty good reward if he chooses the correct choice.
Yeah, so Nighty's warped here. There's nothing for him here. It's just, oh, the water just started being that way.
Ooh, we're taking a death to the Armos Knights here.
Nighty, you have to step in the portal again. Called the Song of Currents, Nighty.
Nighty's just disappointed that it's a song of currents and not his favorite song, Mambo's Mambo.
So Nighty's probably seeing the differences. I hope he goes back up to the left, because the increased bomb capacity is really nice.
So you got a lot of screens here. This area is a lot of screens that are just filled with monsters to kill. The Oracle's games have a couple areas like this where there's just a lot of screens of just piles of monsters to kill, and it's very satisfying, actually.
Yep. Looks like Nighty is not gonna go get the capacity upgrades.
We're
seeing
still
Maple.
doing this the hard way.
No potion. But a gaseous seed. Some bombs.
Alright, Booer makes it through.
Doesn't quite have the sad book yet. Almost there.
Yeah, the players, if they wanted to, once they trade the barbell for the cheesy mustache, they... no, I stand corrected. They can't. They are going to need to get... I think they'd need Dimitri.
Cheesy mustache for a joke book, and then the joke book to the depressed kid.
Yeah, and then they need to... I think, though, to finish it off, they would need either Dimitri as their companion, or they need to get the switch hook. Because one of the guys is in a cave that I think that they need that to reach.
I don't quite remember what Maple gives you in this game.
She gives you a wooden oar. Alright, it's Nighty's turn to do the secret restoration ceremony. So we'll see how many tries
It's
it
heavily
takes.
implied that this ceremony is completely unnecessary.
It is. So we'll see how many attempts this takes Nighty to get through.
Nighty said no. That's a mistake.
So, yeah, in one of the most
Oh,
convoluted...
that was so close!
Yeah, if he just stayed on the button, I think he would have had it. A convoluted ceremony here. Oh, he didn't read the rules, so that's why he didn't know. You've got this minecart going around in a circle, and for some reason there's a single button to stand on that keeps the minecart from crashing into the tuning nut. And in order to succeed, you have to knock all the enemies into the hole without letting the minecart crash into your tuning nut. Alright, easily done. Nighty clears that on his second attempt once he actually understands what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
So at some point, Mooware fell behind Zenith. So Zenith isn't quite certain what to do here. He's doing a lot of bombing.
Hey, all you gotta do is go right. Actually, you can go left too, and then up, down. Or down, up. Does he know where he is? He's gotta go. He's got the tuning nut. Curious if Nighty is headed back to that area he missed.
Yeah, I suspect he is.
Which I guess is right here.
Yeah, it's not that long of a walk.
Yeah, you don't even have to go back through time again. Well, actually, he probably will because he has to move the thing.
Yeah, he has to go back in time, but I think he should be able to make it back after that.
If he didn't have to go back in time, he could have saved and quit back to the previous warp. Yeah, well, someone's dropping all sorts of seeds in there and can't figure out the puzzle. You're not throwing the seeds, though. Someone did not figure out the puzzle.
So Zenith here has figured out that he can use the shovel to get items during the fight. There it is. Zenith picks up on, oh, I can dig the boss up. Of course, this boss is all boss is a clever reference to Mole Mania. Looks like Nighty picks up his bomb upgrade.
Yeah, but the town is still destroyed. You gotta save it from itself.
I mean, eventually. He'll get around to it. So, Nighty returns the sacred red bell pepper to its rightful resting place.
It's a nut. Now the volcano should calm down, and they're gonna go into the cave and clean it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's really easy. All you need to do to get rid of that lava is you gotta get one of those Hamiltonian path push blocks, and that'll just clear up all the lava real quick.
Yeah. So, currently the volcano is very upset, so there's a secret cave inside of the volcano, but it's filled with lava currently. So, that's hard. If you go into the future, now that we've saved it, everything's water. And water is wet.
It turned into a water volcano.
Yeah. And now the place is back in whack. I think it's just because Varen had doomed these locations or something like that, and you're basically undoing Varen's time travel, but the legend of that, it's okay, it didn't have anything to do with it. But someone gets another potion.
Yeah, getting lucky on these Mabel potions.
Then he goes around and talks to everybody.
Yep, now you've taken a moment to gather up all of this important lore. And then there's this cave in this water, and Eddie walks in and he realizes that this is a geyser. It is skin scaldingly hot, and he dies as a result.
Making sure that he saves. This has got a great soundtrack to it.
Oh no! Someone climbed all the way to the top of the mountain and didn't get the tuning nut.
Oh no.
So he gets to the top of the mountain. The dude's like, "Hey, I'll help you fix something if you have something for me to fix."
And he's not even going back the quick way. Didn't recognize where he was.
But I think part of the issue maybe is that he doesn't actually know what he's doing here.
Yeah, no, so here's the thing. If he warped back with the currents, right? He could walk up there. Okay, so he's warping from down here.
Well, you can't because it needs to be in the pass.
No, but if he did it at the top, right?
Uh-huh.
He could have left. He could have left, used Ricky to get back up there, and just warp back from in front of the thing. Like, you can use Ricky to save time from that mistake.
Maybe.
Because Ricky can jump over the ledges. Gotta offset it by 1.
Deadman Dan asking, did Nighty trade the meat away? Yes, Nighty is currently on the cheesy mustache.
Gets key for his trouble.
Zenik might not be aware that if you hold the button, you can aim the flute, or aim your seed shooter. Oh wait, here we go.
Once more with Gusto, Zenik. Oh, you had it.
Zenik really wants these things to be in a different position.
Zenik, that's the right position.
That's it, you can do it. There we no. There we go, Zenik gets it. We're figuring out the mole boss a little bit faster than Zenik, it seems.
Nighty not slapping that switch, but has to basically hit this switch with the seed shooter. You're gonna need scent seeds for this. Ember seeds work, I guess.
Ember seeds will work against the.
No, it doesn't hurt the Moldorm. They're immune to fire.
Yeah, it'll work on the switch, but it won't work on the Moldorm.
Oh, the Moldorm took a double hit from that bomb.
Yeah, they all do.
Well, no, it walked back into it.
Alright, someone is exploring the mountain again. I think someone doesn't realize that there's more things to do in Symmetry City.
Nighty missing that switch again.
So this is unfortunate for someone ceding a lot of time to Muwer and Zenik.
Maybe not missing that switch, but saw that chest that they could get, so they wanted to go all the way back. And here's a fun mechanic that won't grow old. At least it's better in this dungeon than in Dungeon Native Seasons.
You're talking about pulling the switch to make the lava go away?
Yeah.
We're gonna see a lot more of that.
Yeah. Just across both games. They really like that mechanic.
Alright, so someone has a tuning nut and is going to go and do the minigame. Zenek's still not quite picking up on what he's supposed to be doing here in this boss fight. Keeps trying to whip around and catch the boss before she dips back down, but you can't do that. She's just way too fast for you. She is the red light, green light reigning champion of Hyrule.
Nighty recognizing that puzzle very quickly. And here's actual red light, green light. Although this one's kind of obnoxious. I don't disagree with Nighty trying to push it from that side, but
down into the hole it goes.
yeah, it's a bit tricky. Doesn't even have the ring equipped.
Yeah, there is a ring that will let you avoid these collapsing, but you just got to push it. There we go. He does it.
Yeah, it lasts long enough.
The good news is Zenek figures out the trick to the boss and starts dealing damage. The bad news is does take a death here and is going to have to navigate again. But I think it'll be pretty easy for him to win on his next attempt.
Almost certainly.
This Zelda is also pretty generous in that that push block stays pushed, so you don't have to redo that room, and that you tend to get a lot of hearts and fairies right before the boss room. So Muware here is now confronted with this switch that for whatever reason wants to make 2 motions every time you hit it.
The most annoying thing with the Ember Seed is you can't shoot through next seed until it's finished burning.
Yes. Yeah, it's always that awkward moment when you fired a seed and you can't fire another one because your first one hasn't cleared the room yet.
No, he's just gonna wait. Yeah, the Sensi just pops, so it makes it easier. And there we go, Nighty gets his key. As, you know. Letting going out of this dungeon as someone finally enters it. And then it clears Dungeon 3.
Yeah, Dungeon 4 is a little bit unusual in that it's an extremely linear dungeon. It's basically just a long sequence of puzzles that you have to do, and then you have to grab all the keys on the way. And it's obnoxious because if you take a death along the way, you do wind up having to redo a very big chunk of this dungeon. Nighty taking a very risky angled shot there, but manages to nail it, so that's going to work out.
Yep, and that's important, because otherwise this door is closed. I'm just remembering where the last guy is, and yeah, you either need Dimitri or the mermaid suit. For the trade sequence. In my head, because I remember what the sprite was. Which makes sense.
Oh, this is an interesting trick here from Muware. Muware trying to use the spin slash to slash behind him. That's clever. It doesn't work, but that's a thoughtful way to interpret the boss's gimmick. Then it just swims straight into a whirlpool that doesn't actually work.
Oh wait, no, you don't need it. I'm thinking of it's a password that you need that for.
You need a password for what?
The password is what you need. The Dimitri or a mermaid suit, because the guy who gives you the flippers in Seasons is in a very strange spot. And the mighty sword and mighty shield will crush you. So what's mightier than a mighty shield?
A mighty sword.
Or yeah, or well, they're equally as mighty.
Well, this is like that puzzle in Phoenix Wright where it's, you know, a guy has a sword that will break any shield and a shield that will block any sword. And then they realize that, well, what happens if you hit the sword with the shield? And
Well, they destroy each other.
yeah, well, I mean, his answer is that it's a contradiction, but yeah, that's the correct answer, is that they would just have to destroy each other.
Which one was that? If it wasn't Great Ace Attorney, don't tell me because I haven't played it
No,
yet.
no, it was like Phoenix Wright 2, I think.
Yeah, I was like, I remember that line. I think it was in 2.
Yeah, it was one of the first two the Phoenix Wright games, I think.
Because the 2 was filled with a lot of contradictions.
But I think it was like some explanation of where the word contradiction came from, that like maybe the Japanese character for contradiction is a sword and a shield, and that's the lore behind it or something like that. I don't know. I don't actually speak Japanese, so I don't know.
That doesn't sound right to me. But it's the same concept of an unstoppable force versus an immovable object.
Yeah, that's the Blob fighting the Juggernaut.
Yes. Okay, here's the switch hook. Coming up for 90 soon, I believe.
Yeah, so we've got Zenik here is exploring in the island. I'm not sure what Zenik's looking
Oh
for
no,
here.
you already made the wrong move at the start. You have to go left at the start, more or less.
Yeah,
And-
I think you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
you
couple
having
of these
problems?
Hamiltonian path puzzles in these games.
You can't save that. The second you didn't go up one more tile, you messed it up.
Okay, really the trick here is just as you go through, every time you spot a place where you've created a one tile dead end, you've gotta walk that way.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Nighty has chosen the end. However,
I think he's
there
good.
we go. I was a little worried about that part.
Alright, he's got it.
Yeah. They are everywhere. But switch place, switch hook is this game's version of the hook shot. And it does that. It's a very unique item. If not a little bit too slow.
Yep, it's a pretty unique item. Although you have, of course, there's the grappling hook in the Triforce Heroes games, which that's mechanically pretty similar to the switch hook and very aggressively powerful.
Yeah, well it pulls you to things, but also can pull things to you. That grappling hook is inconsistent.
It is very much so.
Fighting the Gibdo.
Oh man, Zenik going big money, spending 150 rupees on Baby Alpha's medicine.
Oh boy.
Bought Baby Alpha.
Did he buy himself a flute?
Nope.
He's just gonna take Moosh.
He might be going for Moosh. Might be on Team Moosharoo.
Have you seen a leg like they eat shields? Funnily enough, they pick up the shield anyway because you can do weird jumps with it. Yeah, I guess it's gonna be Moosh.
Ooh, someone getting the nice shot on the skeleton there.
So, Zenik is gonna learn that this was a mistake. At least everybody else gets to see it, because nobody else has to deal with the same shit Moosh does. Yeah, so the solution to this puzzle is to kind of go all the way around.
And Moore immediately gets a strike here. The ball just comes flying out.
And Nighty solves it. You can move the thing one tile by just standing next to it and switching places.
Nope, Zenik gets Maple, but she ain't got crap here. She's just got a couple of rupees and hearts. It was a very disappointing Maple.
Yeah, but as I see everybody, Zenik's the only one getting Moosh.
It looks that way.
Muware, why you gotta, maybe if Muware messes it up, maybe we'll go to get Dimitri instead.
Ooh, nicely done. That's 100 points. I think Muware's got it. Alright, so it looks like Muware's also on Team Ricky.
And I've got Dimitri, so, you know.
Well, there we go. Yeah, the animal companion doesn't have a big effect on the game. You only need the animal companion for the one area.
I would argue the second you go through this area, you can already see, like, you can't even go straight to the carpenter. Moosh sucks.
Alright, Nighty cautiously solving this Hamiltonian path.
Yeah, they're mostly just big, they're not entirely hard. I was a little worried about that bit of movement he just did. He's got a snake right here. Up, down. We go up and then right.
There we go. Alright, he gets it and he
Yep.
gets the key.
Because they're so big, they're not really that threatening. You just have to make sure you never do it. Because there's just a lot of room. Like, there were like 3 ways from where Nighty was that he could have solved it. No, that was ambitious, Nighty. You don't have the ability to jump that big of a gap.
Alright, so it's Zenik's second attempt here at the fairy maze. So Zenik gets through that one significantly faster.
Yeah, I think there's some glitches with the switch hook in this game, how you can do things over Z-axes or something like that, but I don't remember.
Might be able to.
People skip a lot of the dungeon with the switch hook. Yeah, so this is basically just a 2-room lava thing. And it's gonna lead to the boss key, which is pretty important. You know, you kinda need to win.
Alright, it's someone's turn to do the Hamiltonian path.
So Moosh gives you the flute.
Yeah, Moosh gives you the flute if you haven't collected any of the other flutes. The other 2 characters, they'll just say, "Hey, that's my flute you just coincidentally purchased out of this shop."
As you can see, the very different way someone is solving this room from Nighty. just gotta walk right and then up and around. You're 90% of the way there.
Yeah, someone I think is kind of overthinking this.
Just go right. You can basically ride the wall the whole way out right now.
Yeah, that's the way I solve these puzzles when I'm playing them. I just go around circles in the room because it's easier that way. You just basically hug the wall the whole way around.
Yep. So this is a bit of a curious one because you have to push a block. I think you can get through in one go, maybe. You might need the Pegasus seeds for that. Now you can just switch hook.
So, Zenik also fallen for the trap here that you have to talk to the head carpenter a second time. Nothing is going to happen until you've talked to him when you've got a critter. The Legend of Zelda, the event trigger of mystery.
Okay, now you gotta push. And here's the problem.
Yep, Nighty made his way through, but he didn't plan for an escape route.
All you had to do was push that one pot up too.
Yep, you just
Try
have
to get it, but just follow the lava, redo the room. Oh, I guess you're close enough to the end. You didn't plan for it again, Nighty. I think Nighty realized it. All I gotta do is push the one block up. I don't need anything else. Okay. But you took out the block you needed.
No, he's good.
Oh, wait, no, okay, I guess you can go this way.
Yeah, he figured it out.
Yeah, he could have just pushed it up and then turned around.
Alright, Nighty has the Nightmare Key, so he's really close here. He's got everything. I think that he just needs to walk to the boss and finish it.
Yep, as you can tell, this dungeon's a skull.
Alright, we've got the boss here. The boss is not trivial. This is a Patra, which is a classic Legend of Zelda enemy. And he's got a lot of these little things just flying all around this room. This is not a difficult fight. You just hit him. Oh, there we go. If Nighty had his level 2 ring equipped, that probably really helped him out.
Yeah, he equipped it and it just obliterates the boss. It's kind of a joke.
Oh yeah, that definitely helps. But if you don't have a ring for bonus damage, yeah, that boss can be pretty tricky, especially if you try to play defensively.
Yeah, you just gotta get in there is really all you gotta do with him. So up next for Nighty is a neat area, but where he's done for the week.
Yep, Nighty has cleared the goal for today with an SRL time of 2 hours, 9 minutes, and 50 seconds. So coming in very close to the estimated time. Let's go ahead and pull up our last remaining racer.
And Anisep is very close.
Yeah, Anisep is going to finish any second now.
Yeah, having some problems with the Patra. But I would say this is probably one of the easier bosses in the game. Like you don't even really have to think, you just hit it with your sword.
Yeah, there's a couple of bosses like that through this through the Oracle's games. where you just run up to them, you just whack them with your sword until they die, and it's just a matter of making sure that you defeat the boss faster.
Oh, why didn't you go up? All you do is go up.
Oh, no, and someone's messed this up. Yeah, way too many
Yeah, all they had to do
minutes.
was go up and they could have salvaged everything, but they didn't. Just walk in big giant circles until you solve the puzzle.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Someone know.
They got it. All right.
Okay, they got it. I was really worried they were gonna change directions or give up.
All right, Nanaset finished in second place with an SRL time of 2 hours, 11 minutes, and 11 seconds. So barely a minute and a half behind 90.
Anisip got Dimitri, so better.
So in your book said he gets a bonus there?
He'll make up the time later. He'll save so much time in seasons. Like, you save a monstrous amount of time in seasons getting Dimitri. It's just, he wastes so much time to get him that he's never faster. But if you're doing a linked game, you get Dimitri because Dimitri's faster. Yet if you start with ages, they just manip the rupees and get Dimitri because Dimitri is faster.
So Zenik isn't gonna have any trouble finding the warp to the past.
No, but has to head there. Doesn't know why everything's blown up, but knows he can walk around. I respect the checking of that hole.
Yeah, that's a very suspicious hole. That's the sort of hole that if this was Dark Souls, there'd be a sigil next to it that'd be like, oh, treasure ahead.
That hole there is to hint the players when they're in the past that that's
There's a passage. Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, that's the passage there. Although you see, you know, the way they present it in the past, I think everybody would know exactly what it is. Or at least everybody who's played plenty of Zelda games.
So we're crossing the 2-hour threshold. We've got 2 of our 5 players have completed the goal. Someone 325 is very close here, is on the last puzzle here to pick up the Nightmare Key. So we just have Zenik and Muware, who they're pretty far behind the other players, but they're pretty close together here. So this is still a pretty tight race for those 2 players.
Yeah, I'm excited. Zenik has Moosh, though, and that's really unfortunate. Zenik doesn't know why.
Well, but I think it's one of those things that now that they've gotten through that area, there's a good chance we will never see Moosh or Ricky ever again.
Well, until seasons.
That's true.
And animals matter a lot more in seasons than they do in ages. But you get like an extra cutscene with Moosh. It's pretty funny. Someone moves on to that, to the Patra. So I'm curious. Someone is getting ruined. It's immune to sword slashes, what are you gonna do? It's only a Zelda game. They would never give you an item to use at a dungeon.
Zenik getting all of this hot Symmetry City lore here.
Someone has a potion, but does not want to use it. I think also has a ring of defense.
I mean, Ring of Defense doesn't do you any good when you're on a quarter of a heart.
Yeah, it also doesn't help when it reduces your damage.
There's the dot done from Someone325 with an SRL time of 2 hours, 17 minutes, and 5 seconds. Yeah, someone's in a good spot having that red joy ring. That's going to be a lot of free rupees picked up from these enemies. Let me get this music fixed. Yeah, the rings are a mixed bag. A lot of the rings you get aren't very useful. So you wind up just spending a bunch of money appraising them and not getting a whole lot to show for them. On the other hand, if you get a lucky ring, it can really be a big advantage. If you get, perhaps get a ring like we saw. Someone picked up a ring that gives them double rupees. It's a handy one. I think we saw Nighty picked up a level 2 attack ring that gives him a pretty big boost to attack power in exchange for a loss of defense. And then Zenik talking to this guy who's kind of a jerk, that you have to literally stand on that square he's trying to hint. Oh no, Zenik is walking away! Oh no, Zenik!
That's a shame.
Misunderstood when the guy says my hearing isn't what it used to be. No, he means stand literally next to me. The good news is there's not a whole lot of other places for Zenik to
there's
go.
nothing else to do.
Although this could turn into a wander around literally the entire world, thinking that maybe it's another random plot trigger.
It could lead him to the Noble Sword, though.
Maybe. There's still more to do.
Because, I mean, the main thing they gotta do is bump into Mabel. But, actually, I don't think they can get back.
Let's not spoil that. We've got some folks in the chat now who've been watching the race.
Oh.
We'll talk about that in the next race. So, yeah, right now, Zenik's in an unfortunate position. He misunderstood the hint that he was given. The guy is supposed to say, play that harp while standing on the one different tile that represents the only place that I will recognize that you played a song.
Yeah. Conveniently, Zenik literally can't go anywhere else.
Well, he can go quite a few other places if he decides to retread. The beginning.
He can't head back, so the only way he can do it is if he uses the Whirl Seeds. And it's just whether or not he's thinking about that. But that
Well,
wouldn't make any sense.
All right, maybe he'll get the hint from Ralph here, and this will tell him, oh shoot, I just need to go up to that one. Someone asking, did anybody pick Dimitri?
Yes.
So we had Muware, Nighty, and someone picked Ricky. Anisep picked Dimitri, and Zenik is Purist, who went with Moosh.
What do you got against Dimitri, someone?
Yeah, 150 rupees is expensive. Whereas if you go for Ricky, you do have to play the minigame, which takes a little bit longer.
And Dimitri saves an insane amount of time in not this game. Saves less time in this game. But he is the fastest animal. Now that there's no changing it for anybody.
Alright, let's see if Zenik goes back up and tries talking to the Hermit again. So it would really be unfortunate if he leaves this mountain. He's kind of going up, despite the fact that the levers are trying to tell not to. So we'll see how things go. This segment is pretty annoying because of all of the confusing plot triggers. The next segment is going to be lots of mini games, and after that, I think the last two segments are going to be a little bit shorter. We're only going to do one dungeon per segment because the last two dungeons are pretty long and difficult. But that should be a total of 5 segments, and that'll get us through.
In fairness, I think the 7th dungeon and the enter the 7th dungeon for this game is an extremely long segment, and then the 8th dungeon isn't that bad in comparison.
Although the eighth one does include a final boss.
Yeah. And that does have, I think, the worst 2 rooms in any of the Oracle's games. And I think you know which ones I'm talking about because I said 2 rooms.
Yeah, I think I might know which ones you're talking about, but we'll find out for certain in a couple of weeks when we get to that last segment. So yeah, this is us playing The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Ages for the Game Boy Color. This is a blind segmented race. These are players who haven't played the game before. Trying to play through this for the first time as quickly as they can. We will wind up doing a full race of both Oracle's games. We'll probably have a little bit of a palate cleanser between Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. Oracle of Ages is much more puzzly, so if you're finding the puzzles in here to be a little bit of a stretch for you, don't worry. If you play through into Oracle of Seasons, you'll find Oracle of Seasons is much more action-oriented.
Yeah, I think Oracle of Seasons, because of that, is the easier game.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun to race, too, because it's a very aggressive, beat the monsters up fast and you keep going.
Yeah, the only part that's weird is you can do certain things in weird orders. So we'll have to be very specific with our base spins.
Yeah,
or let you run wild for a dungeon and a half.
I have confidence that the players will figure it out.
Well, I only say that because you can definitely do more dungeons out of order. In fact, I don't think I've done that dungeon in order since my first playthrough. It's an extreme oddity for like a Zelda game of this time that you are told basically to do this out of order.
Yeah. Well, we saw we saw some things when we did our Ocarina of Time race, for example. We were a little thrown off. I put together paste spins for that, but I didn't plan on Navi deciding to tell the players to wander around in the desert.
Yeah, that's why I always took the Spirit Dungeon as the 7th dungeon, not the 8th.
Yeah, that's
because Navi tells you to go there.
Yeah, that threw me off quite a bit. We learn a lot of interesting things for these. I mean, just in this stream alone, we discovered you can pick up those little Toke crystals. Did not know that. Ooh, Zenix got an opportunity to grab that potion. Yeah, that's a nice pickup for Zenik. That's a 300 rupee value.
As long as he keeps it, but I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, and it's hard to imagine that just last week when Zenik was playing, Zenik was frightened of Maple. Every time he heard her theme song show up and he saw that shadow, he was ready to bolt every single time. So hopefully by this race he realizes that, yeah, he wants to hang out with Maple. These little opportunities to spend a little bit of quality time with Maple, bumping into her in an odd corner and having a little bit of a game of tag with her. We're not quite ready to accept that this was literally a dead end, but this is literally a dead end.
Is that maybe thinking about playing the Song of Currents?
That was beautiful right there. Muware plays Ricky's flute. Ricky jumps in and immediately plunges into the water and drowns.
And then warps next to you. I've never played Ricky on this screen. Moosh wouldn't go into the water because Moosh literally, I don't think, is allowed to path towards water.
Might not. Here we go. Here's best friend Ralph to give you a hint that you need to climb the mountain. Although that should usually be obvious. If you're playing a video game and an NPC is like, "Hey, there's a mountain," like immediately you're like, "Oh, well, I should climb that mountain."
It's a tall mountain.
Oh, where is Muware gonna go? Ooh, did Muware not realize that you can dive while swimming?
Huh. I feel like you had to do that already, though.
Yeah, you had to do that in the Toke area. Yeah, so that can't be it. So, we see Muware making the walk of shame back up this way. Anisep asks, is this a Metroidvania? Is a Zelda game a subset of a Metroidvania, Alpha?
I don't think so. Mainly
Yeah.
because it's got to be 2 dimensions, and while there's sometimes 2 dimensions, there's never they're all super linear 2D sections.
Well, I would say that it's not a Metroidvania because your progression in particularly this game is based very heavily upon hitting event triggers. It's not about just
Also
collecting
true.
items. Although I've often thought about that would make a fun like variant of a Metroidvania, one where you don't collect any new items. Instead, it's all about like activating passive mechanics in the background. You know, like turning the power back on and suddenly you can access areas.
I've played games like that. I don't remember what they are, but I'm pretty sure I've played those.
Alright, Zenik has made it to the restoration wall and is going to play the Minecart Madness minigame. Patch's Crazy Cart. Now here's a little bit of lore that you might not have noticed, Alpha. Toonie Nut is spelled the same forward and backward.
Yes, because it's Symmetry City.
Yeah, I'm sure you're impressed that you didn't realize that sort of progression.
I mean, no, that one, I was just gonna let be there. It's a palindrome.
Alright, Zenik realizes that the object of the game is to put something in that hole, but he's not quite certain whether it's supposed to be him or the
Oh, a
monsters.
little bit too late to the button.
When we're taking the long walk around here, he got the nuts, he got the wind nuts in the present, so he could have just warped as soon as he got back to the present. But he's made it back up here. And now it's his opportunity to once again try to figure out how to get up. Alright, nicely done. Zenik gets the hardest part done.
Completely random. You know, it's like, this is just, I'm just trying to break your shit. Or kill you, like one of those things. Like, that's what he's trying to do.
Well, I think you nailed it previously when you said that it's strongly implied that this entire thing is just, it's entirely a scam. And that the minecart has no relationship whatsoever.
I mean, he is fixing, like, your stuff for you for free, but he's definitely, like, getting some sick, it's some sick game to him.
She asks, "Can you place it on the pedestal?" And Zenik says, "Yes, I can." And then she realizes that no, she needs to say, "Would you please place it on the pedestal?"
Pedestals aside. See if Zenik, did Zenik have the barbell?
I believe he does. Zenik momentarily considers a cruel trick here where he might... Oh no, he didn't get the barbell. Considers picking up exactly one pot and smashing it and then destroying Symmetry City by not destroying the other one.
Yeah, the barbell.
Needs
Maybe
to...
you'll find it later.
Needs to make a couple more trades to get there. So we'll see. I expect at least two of the players to not complete the trade sequence.
Yeah. I mean, they might just not complete the whole thing anyway. It's kind of a pain.
So we'll see. Or maybe we'll see the players towards the end start giving each other hints. Alright. Muware, I think, sees it now, realizes, oh, there's the secret. You gotta dive. So we went to the island of the Tokay, and this is Taki, which is a completely different character. Unfortunately, they didn't put a whole lot of budget into naming things, so they kind of reused a lot of the names. I feel like they also, in the Oracle games, they got a lot of budget out of this this little tune that the guy plays, the same song that in Link's
When Terran
Awakening.
runs from the bees.
Yeah, exactly. That they use that in a couple of spots, and almost overused.
It's a good
it.
line.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's okay. Alright, so Zenik is in a good spot now, has cleared all of this overworld shenanigans, is finally in a dungeon. This is the part where he can shine, that you just go straight on through the dungeon, you just solve each of the rooms. I mentioned before, the Skull Dungeon is a little bit different than the other dungeons in that it's pretty linear in its construction.
If people haven't been able to tell, all the dungeons are shaped basically what they're named after.
Yeah, completely unprecedented mechanic in Zelda games that the name of the dungeon is a hint to what shape it takes.
I mean, this is like the first game that kind of did that. Other than, I guess, Zelda 1 had, Lion's Head or something like that.
I don't know that the dungeons in Zelda 1 really had names.
Yeah, they didn't have names, but they were shaped like things.
Yeah, it might have been sort of backwards that in Zelda 1 they were shaped like things and then you just sort of called them whatever they were shaped like. Except for in the second quest, where most of them were just shaped like the letters in the name Zelda.
Yeah, you know, you got good dungeon names. I feel like the dungeon names in this one are a little lazier because of that, but you know. Like, you don't get Catfish's Maw or Bottle Grotto, you get Skull Dungeon and Sword and Shield Dungeon. Things like that.
Alright, so Muir's got the... Oh, Muir's gonna take a death here. This
Yet
is an
another.
intentional death warp, of course. It's back to the past, so that way he can very conveniently find the right spot to warp to the present. Nope, Muir's just gonna warp back to the present in just a random ass spot. Oh, there we go. He wants that piece of heart. Yeah, the Skull Dungeon, because it's so linear, you have to be a little more cautious about your combat. If you take a death, you're going to have to go back pretty far and redo a lot of rooms. So death in this dungeon is a lot more punishing than it is in most of the dungeons. Zenek taking a moment to examine his map of the Skull Dungeon. Second floor is just the Skull's jaw. Nope. Zenek's stream had a little hiccup there. Let's refresh that.
Hey, it's just making his way through the skull.
Yeah, so visually, this dungeon resembles a lot Dungeon 8 from Link's Awakening with all of the lava. So it kind of has a feeling of being more final than it is. Zenek just eating this spark. Zenek saving and quitting. I wonder what's going through his mind. Maybe he's hoping to refresh his health?
I think he wants to make sure he doesn't lose the potion if you mention to them that they need the potion.
Well, I didn't mention that yet. They don't know that yet. They'll find that out in
Okay.
the pay spin when it's relevant.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. That may be it. Just realizing that, oh, I don't want to use up my potion. If he has... I can't remember if Zenek was one who has one.
And Zenek did grab one from his last Maple encounter.
Alright, yeah, it would really be bad to waste that potion so early on in the dungeon. Oh, there we go. There's this delicious heart.
Very tasty.
What do you think Link does with the heart when he picks it up? Does he eat it?
I think he eats it. I mean, they're clearly just hearty radishes.
That could possibly be true.
Link just really likes radish.
So this is the part where Zenek completely forgets that he has a seed shooter. Link eats rocks?
I think he can eat a rock steak in Breath of the Wild.
I don't think that's a food you can make in Breath of the Wild.
Well, I think the Goron gives it to you. At the very least, in Age of Calamity, it shows him eating one with Daruk for being heroes of the Goron, but that's loosely, definitely not canon.
Yeah, that sounds like the sort of thing your dentist would strongly frown upon. Andy insists it's canon.
I'll have to see. I don't quite remember all the memories, so maybe.
Alright, where is Muir? I've been paying attention to Zenek, but I've been zoning
Oh yeah,
out on Muir.
you can eat a Okay, in Hyrule Warriors, Link eats rocks on a dare.
On a dare?
Yeah, he eats a rock roast, which definitely happened, but that's Age of Calamity.
Alright, Muir's very close to climbing the restoration wall here. Of course, the
All I know is,
restoration
like,
wall is got these meatballs coming down, and Muir is apparently a vegetarian. He takes damage every time a meatball falls in his mouth.
Yeah. It's one of the sprites they updated from the cabbages that were in Link's Awakening.
Ooh, this is going really poorly here for Zenik. Alright, there we go. Zenik gets across. Oh, there's Zenik, has used his potion up.
It's a bit of a shame, but it'll be fine. I don't understand people who save their rupees in Zelda games, because you never need money, except for Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild, on the other hand, is, oh my god, I can't find any money or arrows.
I need more rupees to buy more arrows. That's the solution to every puzzle in Breath of the Wild is, I need to buy more arrows, please. Which, in fairness, I'm happy they finally made the currency, like, work. I think Zenik's finally figured out how to move one tile.
Good enough. Zenik gets through it. Alright, Muir manages to clear Patch's crazy cart. And players are probably breathing a sigh of relief knowing that they'll never have to do that ever again, except for, actually, you could do that again. We'll find that out later. So with the tuning nut in hand, Muir is able to enter dungeon number 4. And will be just behind Zenik here. So the good news is using that potion, that's given Zenik a full restore pretty deep here in the dungeon, so this is going to make it a lot easier for him to keep his exploration up. And then he immediately wastes a heart by just plunging headfirst into a pool of molten magma.
Gotta love jumping into lava.
No, I don't feel like that's actually a prerequisite. I don't think you have to actually love that.
I mean, you don't, but you do. It's complicated. Zenik has fired the same seed from the same position 3 times. Unfortunately, forgetting he only gets 2 bounces. And there we go.
So Zenik is in a position which I think we can all sympathize with, that he's got a feather and he's got his blowgun equipped, and that he could switch to his sword. His sword would be a lot easier, it would be certainly a lot more optimal, but he's just way too lazy to actually switch that, and I sympathize so strongly with that.
Yeah, menus are effort. But everybody's finally in the final dungeon. It's very exciting. And this room is hard.
We keep hearing this room is hard, but it seems like
getting it.
Yeah, every player we've seen is making
It's really annoying. If you miss 2 shots, you have to redo it. Is really all it is. And Zenik was very close, but that last Stalfos, very, very, very helpful in lining up.
Oop, Zenik getting way too greedy there. And it's going to have to redo the room. So once again, Sokoban. Yeah, somebody asked earlier, is this a Metroidvania? No, Zelda's not a Metroidvania. It is a Sokoban, though.
Sokoban Adventure RPG. I'd play it.
There was some. Lately I've spent a lot of time looking at ROM hacking sites for games that have been translated, and I saw one game that was like a Sokoban adventure game that's on my list of this is something that I should try.
That sounds like fun. Oh no, Sonic jumped a little too far. Finally gets his key though.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I think that you kind of, when you're not doing mandatory jumps, that you're kind of just jumping all over the place, and I think that was a case of just nervous fingers, just jumping and realizing, oh shoot, the game considers that as a move. Alright, Moor's cleared a path, but at what cost? A flaming bat just plunges headfirst into his forehead. Alright, Zenix's turn to fight this boss who has both an unbreakable sword and an unbreakable shield.
He's trying bombs.
I mean, I appreciate this being proactive.
Bombs didn't work. Whipped out the sword. He'll figure it out in about 2 seconds when that sword hits him. So that was convenient. Yeah, see, we're unlucky. Did not get the double hit on the Moldorm. We're going through this.
So this boss, after his sword and shield are destroyed, he goes for the tried and true strategy of just ram headfirst into the opponent, proving that the true identity of this soldier, he's in fact Adolf Kristen from the Ys series, that he's just trying to bump damage you to death. Alright, Zenix says, oh, Hamiltonian path time. Oh no, Zenix is thinking it's just walk to the goal time.
Okay. Well, now he knows. And, you know, the screen was a little bit bigger. Maybe you bust out some graph paper, because it's pretty easy, but...
No, Zenix here is moving with confidence.
Yeah, Zenix already knows where to do half the room. And I think is okay. Yeah, Zenix can...
No.
No, they had to go down right there, and I think it would have worked out. But they know what to do. They already know. And I think, honestly, rather than just thinking it out, because sometimes when you're looking at these Hamiltonian paths, it's a lot of effort. Just moving around and you know where you cut the corners in, like, that's usually how I... Oh, that's just a movement error. You just go, and then you'll know basically where you have to adjust or cut, but you're like, well, I can go up here. You have fairly good confidence in your movement. Like, Zenix's solution is gonna take him right to the goal.
That's puzzle solving hints from Alpha. Just go, and you'll know.
Yeah, just... If you don't think, especially on a quick reset puzzle like that, like, the solution isn't that long.
No, it's not.
Like,
yeah,
there's one, I don't remember if it's in Seasons, or, actually, I'm pretty sure it's in this game. Actually, I think it's in the next dungeon. That one sucks.
Yeah, this is certainly not the last Hamiltonian path puzzle.
Yeah, and the only reason that sucks is because it's super long, and it's really easy to do a missed input, and if you miss the input, it's like 30 seconds to redo it. It's like 4 screens big.
Alright, Zenek gonna bust out that switch hook and then immediately plunge into the lava, and so it's gonna get to do this room again. Zenek overthinking this by quite a big margin.
Seems to be some overthinking with the switch hook, which, again, switch hook's easy to overthink with, because you don't think that you can just swap one tile. What?
There we go, after a little bit of consideration. Oh no, Muir is the only player to have to make 2 attempts at the minecart room. That's unfortunate.
Has not a lot of sense seeds left either, and all the enemies respawn, so he's got basically this, and then he's got to go find some sense seeds, because you can't do it with Ember, the skeletons, or any fire.
No,
Oh wait, no, it didn't reset.
Yeah, they didn't respawn. I was waiting for that 2-room...
Which one is it that respawn? I feel like there's one that they respawn in.
I mean, there's a minecart minigame later that's functionally the same thing. Maybe that's what you're thinking of.
That's impossible. I mean, that one's pretty hard when you do it for the password stuff. 'Cause they amp it up a lot.
Yeah, for those who don't know what Alpha's referring to, when you complete this game, you get to play Oracle of Seasons, and there will be lots of passwords. And so you might think, oh, I've beaten Oracle of Ages, I've found everything. Well, no, when you play Oracle of Seasons, you'll get some passwords that will send you back to Oracle of Ages to play some new mini-games and unlock some new items.
Yeah. And when you do Ages to Seasons, there's a lot more mini-games in that direction. There's very few of them the other way around.
Well, the players will figure out why that is when they have an opportunity to play the next segment.
Yeah, but, I mean, like, going the other way, it's usually just you talk to this one person, or you just enter the password and you get the thing. Ages has a ton of just like, hey, go do this extra thing.
Alright, Zenix on another Hamiltonian path puzzle here. Does need to be a little careful. It's got these Moldorms cruising around, and these Moldorms will have no problem whatsoever shoving you onto the wrong tile.
Yeah, and Zenik is just doing circles until he closes the path down further and further, and now has realized that there's only lines left, so it's just gonna solve for line.
Nice. Nicely done, Zenik. Gets a clear here.
I've noticed the slowdown in movement is entirely to make sure that they're lined up on the X and Y correctly after that first mistake. Those kinds of things scar you. It's so rough feeling.
We're once again identifying that he has dramatically overthought this boss. trying to figure out things he can use to knock the sword into the shield, and all you have to do is just, you know, just stand between them. Nice dodge there. We're jumping over the sword. This third hit's a little bit tricky though. The boss moves pretty quick, and he does like to try to dodge the sword. We're realizing he needs to be careful. Alright, there we go. He gets a kill. He's going to get a fairy for his trouble. And more importantly, that creates a checkpoint, which means now if Muir was to take a death, he would get to warp directly from the entrance to this point. Which is just, that's really makes killing the mini-boss that much sweeter.
Yeah, there's a lot of good warps in this game.
Some of them are good, some of them aren't that helpful.
Yeah. Better than some of the ones in Link's Awakening. Particularly Dungeon 8 in Link's Awakening. It's the most useless mini-boss warp ever. You fight everybody's favorite boxing fiend to play now, and he gives you a warp to basically just come back to his room and accomplish nothing. Oh, and an interesting path from Zenek there, going low instead of high. Doesn't quite make the cut. You don't really... You want to be running on as many straight lines as possible. Like, very little diagonal movement.
We're abandoning that attempt, but I think that one was good. I think he could have cleared that.
And he cleared it that time. Or are you talking about Muir?
I'm sorry, I was talking about Muir. Did I say the wrong name?
Yeah. Yeah. No, you just said... I don't think you said any name. I was talking about Zenek. And so this... Yeah. I wonder... Okay, Zenek realizing immediately. Forget the rest of it. This is a very simple puzzle, and... Oh, that feels bad. Oh, just electing to, probably just get this so that it... stones up enough of it, and it's just gonna... switch hook.
Oh,
the whole thing.
Yeah. Took a little too long there. Needed to switch to switch hook a lot earlier.
Oh no, Muir missing the switch hook right after the warp.
The good news is there's a warp right there.
Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't send Muir through the entire dungeon.
Now, can we talk about the switch hook sound? That it hits and then it makes this little sound.
Yeah.
What is that? What is that noise?
The sound of teleportation.
Is like, are we going by the switch hook as magic?
I feel like it has to be, because like you can't spin around. That would be illegal. Oh, you can't make that jump. This is the wrong game to make that jump, Zenek. And I'm almost certain Zenek is gonna get gotcha here.
I think...
Maybe not.
Nope, he was thinking about it. Oh,
Yeah,
you know, it's possible that since last week he's forgotten that pushing pots is a thing. So we did have to push pots in the previous goal, and it's been a whole week. It's not a thing that you do in other Zeldas, so it's possible that he's forgotten that's a mechanic.
You can pick up pots and put them down on the Zeldas. You just can't put them down in this one.
Yeah, and some of them you can. Yes, that's true.
Yeah, so basically, I think recognize both the silly things.
I think Muir's picking up on the switch hook puzzle pretty quick. Okay, Zenek's got one part of the puzzle.
But how do you get back?
Yep,
You
there's
just gotta
that.
move the other pot into position.
First, he's going to see if he can switch hook that treasure box. Of course, if you could switch hook the treasure box, it still wouldn't help you because then the treasure box would be down in the corner.
Yeah, and you wouldn't be able to get back anymore because you destroyed all other things. It's like, okay, so that can't be the solution.
So why do you think these slimes are invulnerable when the ground is the same color? Like, what kind of, like, a magical chemical reaction do they have?
I don't know, maybe they're part of the floor and you can't kill the floor.
Okay. So you change the color and then they stop being part of the floor.
Yeah,
except for you really can kill the floor. We know that from fighting Facade in Link's Awakening. Alright, it's Muware versus another Hamiltonian path. Oop, gets a Hamiltonian Moldorm. But it's alright. He recovers from that.
Yeah, so all you gotta do is push this pot up one. And it's the easiest puzzle ever. You don't even have to think about the rest of it.
Oh, nicely. It looks like he figured it out.
Yeah, didn't even have to push it over there because you can step in the half areas in this Zelda.
And Zenek gets a free fairy for his trouble.
Hooray! Wonder if you can kill the sparks. You don't get the boomerang.
Yeah, there's no...
Do you in this game?
I don't think you get a boomerang in this
Yeah, I don't
game.
think you get it in this one. Because the item differences is really strange for parts of it, and I think overall there are just more things you get in this one because you get a bunch of stuff out of dungeons.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. Yeah, it's kind of fun how these how the two games have the different items to collect. In particular, that there's some items in the games that they have a second upgrade in one of the games and don't get a second upgrade in the other one.
I mean, you see Power Bracelet level 1 and you're already disappointed because it's not really going to change anything.
Yeah, that's one of those that you're disappointed to see, so you're hoping that you just get that one over with and that you can enjoy it.
Yeah. Whereas, you know, you see something else with level 1 next to it, it gets real exciting. I'm not going to spoil that one because that's a real fun one.
So, see, Zenek here is falling for the trap that you can't kill these eyeballs. They respawn instantaneously.
And infinitely.
Yeah, that's just really cruel design right there.
Using the feather to set up dodges, which is kind of the main thing that it's necessary for.
There we go. Gets the...
And now that Zenek has hit the boss once, we'll probably hit the boss until it's dead. Just... okay. Maybe not.
Yeah, now he needs to get in there. Alright, got it. Oof. Taking a lot of damage. I think one more cycle will do it. He's just gotta get in there.
Yeah, the mini pouch is very little damage.
And there, Zenek takes the death.
It's quite unfortunate.
Zen, good pace though. Muware is coming in close. I think this is the last section to get the nightmare key. So Muware is really close here to finishing. Zenith taking the long way around to get back to the boss room. We're also on this final puzzle, stopping to think and realizing doesn't have enough pieces to solve this just yet. Needs to figure out that you can push that pot over to hit the switch.
This might be very close between the two.
Alright, we're realizing has to set up his Great Escape. Third time's the charm. I think he's going to get it this time. Did Zenith have to go through all this? I feel like there was a faster way to get to the boss.
I think so, but I don't remember. Just jump over those things.
What's Moo
You don't have
doing?
to do the Hamiltonian path. This you definitely don't have to do. Just leave.
Why is
Okay, here's the
Moo
boss. So
doing-
maybe he did.
Why is
Unless he
Moo-
could have, unless the warp takes him to like the area that's above, which I'm not sure about.
Maybe.
All these keys.
Did Moo fall off a ledge?
Thought Moonware got the key.
He doesn't
not
have
paying
it now. He must have accidentally walked off a ledge and had to redo it.
Oh yeah, went down after this. Now has it. But, unfortunately, to walk all the way around instead of having pushed it up, just solving the puzzle. While Zenik is beating up the Padre.
Yeah, this is one of those bosses that you just want to damage boost your way through. But you take more damage trying to be clever about it than you would if you just jumped in there and just shoved a switch hook into his face.
Yeah, this isn't Zelda 1. They don't obliterate you. He's waiting for it to reset, which is a mistake.
Yeah, there's no reason to make it reset. You just go for it.
I think it's also a mistake not trying to just hit him.
Yeah, a couple of these bosses, they really... They don't follow the rules of the classic Zelda boss. That they don't have, like, required patterns or anything like that. You just get in, you hit them with the item, and then you whack them with your sword, and they die in 15 seconds. As opposed to most Zelda bosses in modern games are, you have to, you know, get them to start their cycle. And then you have to
Even
wait for the
older Zelda
cutscene.
games, other than, I guess, like, I don't know if you really count A Link to the Past as having that, because they just have a lot of health. But yeah, that's a very close clear for both of them. One right behind the other by seconds.
Actually, we might see... Oh, we might see... Alright, they're waiting until they've saved. Wait, Zenik, what are you doing? You're done. Is Zenik gonna be cute and go do some, like, other mechanic before saving?
I don't know.
I don't know what Zenek's doing. You're done. Save it. Sometimes we see players who do this cute thing where he wants to check his rings before he finishes.
Oh wait, I know where he's going. This is more important than going fast.
It has to check on the status of Baby Alpha. Zenek, what are you doing? You can dot done now.
You've been able to dot done for a while.
There it is, moving over. Saving the game. Save and quit. There's the dot done. Finishing with an SRL time of 3 hours, 18 minutes, and 9 seconds. If only Zenek had just saved and quit right there, could have snapped that 4th place finish. But looks like Muir is going to beat him to it. And so that's going to do it for this week's race. We've still got 3 more segments left in this series. Next week we'll be doing Dungeons 5 and 6. And I think we're going to slow things down and we're just going to do Dungeon 7 in one goal and Dungeon 8 in one goal, since those are a little bit longer. And then that'll be all of Oracle of Ages. Just 3 more weeks of gameplay left. So thank you very much for joining me, Alpha.
Yeah, it's been good.
And thank you everybody for joining us in the chat. Let's go ahead. So Pika Pals has been doing a couple of games here. He's doing something called Discord Wars. I don't know anything about that, but he's playing a lot of games. And let's do something a little bit different. Let's watch some Pika Pals play some Forbidden Memories Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh boy.
So that'll be a little bit different of something.
Yeah. You can tell if it's practice as to if he's just trying to fuse Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon or if he's doing anything else.
Yep. So we will be back again next week with more Legend of Zelda: Oracle of Ages. I'm not sure what else we're doing here on the Mystery Funhouse channel. I think last week we had our semifinals for the Giant Pt.2.
Winners finals, yeah.
Yeah, so we're pretty close to the end of that. So hopefully we'll have some of that coming up pretty soon. And then, of course, we've got more Zelda next week, and we'll probably do some other stuff. I've got another game that I'm working on some stuff. We might have another surprise race like we did Legend of Zelda. Might see that coming up in a week or two.
Do you mean what was it?
Legacy of the Wizard.
Dog.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Legacy of the Wizard. I couldn't remember what it was.
Yeah, so you might see another surprise game coming up during the middle of the week. Depends on how I'm feeling. So anyway, thank you everybody for joining us for today's race. Thank you for listening to our commentary. And we hope you'll join us here again on Mystery Funhouse next week when we dive back into the world of Oracle of Ages. Everybody have a wonderful Sunday evening and enjoyable for the rest of your weekend. And thank you for hanging out with us.
All right.
All right,
I'm
we're
out.
done.
Bye-bye.